My fellow Americans. No, what's going on, guys? This is episode 1065 of Pop Culture Crisis. We were watching an episode of Designated Survivor the other day, and Kirkman uses the phrase "my fellow Americans." I think I'm going to start using that to do every maybe leading up to July 4th. Every episode starts with "my fellow Americans," even though I know for a fact there's at least a couple of non-Americans watching the show on the daily. I think I see Katie in the chat. Katie's not from America. If you were wondering who I am with my tangent, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brett. I am here with my guest co-host for the day as I ramble. Directly in front of me, introduce yourself, please.
I was going to say good evening, my fellow Americans.
You can do that.
Wow, my voice is so much deeper today. Hi, guys. It's Olivia coming off of a cold?
Dastardly cold.
Whatever was going around here, I caught over the weekend. So I slept in Brett's office for an hour on Friday, went home, had to take Mocha to the vet. She's okay. Rest assured she's okay. Was not here yesterday. So if I am doing the Brett and I'm going off the thing, I am so sorry, you guys. But I'm here, and we are not alone today. We have a friend in studio. Hello.
Today I can say to the American people and to the world.
We should all do that. We should all pull our comments from famous political speeches.
Yes, yeah. Ask not what you can do for your country, but what your country can do for you. Is that what he said?
Wait, isn't it the other way around? Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
That's exactly how it was.
Yep. I'm so tired, you guys. I'm so sorry.
She's the one who got the political science degree.
I know. It's definitely...
What?
Yeah, it's yeah, I have a political science degree.
Holy shit.
I have a master's. Yeah. It's definitely like the last few days I have said and done things where like when you're sick and your brain just is like trying to come back. I have been living off of soup and meatloaf because I made some. Not like that. Get your mind out the gutter.
Hey, we are off.
I made a meatloaf.
And we're off.
We're off to the races.
You can spam the chat with meatloaf emojis.
Yes, I made a meatloaf.
If you were watching live today.
Share the load.
Yeah.
Despite being sick and feeling like death, I'm still a wife, and so I made a meatloaf for my husband and mashed potatoes, homemade mashed potatoes, not even from the box.
If you like don't have mashed potatoes with meatloaf, are you even eating meatloaf?
Yeah, it's not meatloaf unless you're eating it with mashed potatoes.
I don't have.
I'm sure I'll get clipped.
We don't have a mashed potato emoji, but we might have to work on that one. It's kind of hard to tell what it looks like.
I could do an emoji of me like holding a meatloaf or something. That could work.
That's gonna get photoshopped to all hell.
It's okay.
Guys, hit the like button on this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our ramblings, and share the videos out with everybody in your life that you love and hate. The more people that you share our videos and our channel with, the faster this channel can grow. I would appreciate it if you went and did that. We've got a bunch of stuff to get into today. Some shows come together really smoothly where it just feels like the topic gods come down from the heavens and provide you with stuff that you want to talk about. Today's a little bit different. There's a couple in here that didn't feel necessarily like stories, but they made me indignant enough to want to talk about. One of them being this director that nobody's ever heard of named Adam Marcus, who directed this movie in 2008 with Val Kilmer, who got on Threads of all things. The only way it could have been worse is if he did it to Blue Sky, bad-mouthing Val Kilmer after Val Kilmer has since passed and can no longer defend himself. Now, don't get me wrong, Val Kilmer is historically known for being very, very difficult to work with, but that doesn't really matter to me. I don't like the idea of waiting until after this guy dies to start bad mouthing. Not to mention that, from what I understand, Val Kilmer went on like an a Reddit AMA a couple years ago, and like said he basically regretted the things that he did when he was younger in his career. Maybe he was a good guy, maybe he was a bad guy. I don't know. I just know that this dude, Adam, whatever is, and Marcus is a weasel for his words. So we're going to talk about it. It's not even the main story today. The main story, of course, will be the fact that He-Man and Supergirl, Gen X properties, are going to absolutely flip-flop at the box office. Neither of them is projecting to look to make very much money at all, which is all the more humiliating when you see the success of what's going on with Backrooms and what's going on with the continued success of Obsession at the box office. So we'll talk about that. We are also going to get into the brazen theft of Legos from a poor 83-year-old man who just wanted to make some money with his Legos on consignment to pay for medical bills and college expenses. There is no justice in this world.
His
No,
college
except for-
expenses?
Not his college
I
expenses.
was like, dude, that sucks.
Honestly, though,
I mean, I totally
keep the brain
don't doubt
going
it.
at
80
that
years
age.
old, you're still paying on your college debt?
Oh,
That
true.
sounds American
Yeah, the
to me.
story's absolutely insane, and it keeps spiraling.
I did see like a meme the other day of a guy like eating a burrito, and it says like 32 years old, fully paid off Chipotle burrito. This isn't like inherited wealth.
Yeah, I
This
didn't
is all-
finance this burrito.
I didn't finance this burrito.
Look how far we've come.
Exactly. We got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. It's going to be a fun show today. We're already spiraling into all sorts of chicanery with the start of this episode. So if everybody's ready, we can go and we can get started. Are you ready?
Yes, born ready.
Are you ready?
Andale.
He's ready. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk about what is going on with the Gen X franchises that just seem to be spiraling and failing at the box office, made all the worse by the success of Gen Z created movies like Obsession and Backrooms. What we are talking about, of course, is Superman, and we're talking about Supergirl and He-Man, which is coming out over the weekend. I actually have tickets for us. I'm going to make my wife go and see a He-Man movie that she has no interest in seeing because she is not. I'm not even old. Like I'm still at the tail end of like the Gen X. Like I'm a millennial, so He-Man is firmly, in my opinion, a Gen X property. There are millennials that like it, but for the most part, I feel like it resonates more with the Gen X audience, and it is not looking to do well at the box office.
Did you have the quintessential He-Man action figure as a young man?
I had the sword, but I didn't like it as much as my Thundercats sword, which I liked more. To this day, I go and look it up. I look up the Thundercat sword that I had on eBay, and I'm like, if I had the money right now. Kind of like I am with WWF Championship belt. I'm like, if I had the money, I would buy it.
Yeah, right.
But anyways, I digress. So He-Man has currently a 78% Rotten Tomatoes critic score, which is okay, I guess. It's not the greatest thing I've ever seen. But here's the problem. A similar budget to Mandalorian and Grogu, about $170 million, not including marketing. If you were to use the traditional format for what they spend marketing versus what it costs to make a movie, it would probably be in the $80 million range for marketing. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a $25 to $35 million opening this weekend for He-Man, again, on a budget of $170 million. It is going to lose, and it looks like it is going to lose handily, to Scary Movie 6, of course, a legacy franchise from the Wayans brothers all the way back in the day. And we'll just look at this article here first, and so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. Also, we'll talk about it at the end, but I do have my own theories about why certain segments of the population won't be going to see this. I fully contend and understand that what actors say in these press tours probably isn't affecting the average everyday moviegoer who just doesn't pay attention to what actors are saying in press tours. But for the diehards online, it does matter. It does need to be addressed. So this is what the article said from Geeks and Gamers. It said, Masters of the Universe box office projections point to a disastrous opening. The latest tracking numbers for the Amazon MGM and Mattel's Masters of the Universe should have executives at Castle Grayskull reaching for the panic button. Despite months of marketing, a recognizable brand name, and generally positive reactions to the film's trailers, the live-action adaptation of the beloved He-Man franchise is currently tracking for a disappointing domestic total of 25 to 35 million dollars. That's not merely below expectations for a film carrying a budget of reportedly 170 million. It's the kind of opening that raises immediate questions about whether a planned franchise can survive long enough to get a sequel. No, you might be able to do that like with Mortal Kombat with its $80 million budget or whatever it was to make that movie. I don't know if you can do that with the $170 million budget. The funny thing is, they are not wrong. The trailers weren't the problem for this. I hated the first trailer. Personally, I thought it felt like Thor Ragnarok 2 Electric Boogaloo. But the second trailer did a much, much better job. And one of the critiques that I saw of this movie, I'm so uninvested in this film that I watched some reviews, even though I tend to hold off on watching reviews until after I see a movie. But I did see one review, it might have been Jeremy Johns, who basically said the comedy is more Thor Ragnarok than it is Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know if, you know, as much as that's a compliment, I guess it's not speaking high praise to a movie, because comedy in these movies tends to be a bit capable of diluting the possibility at human moments for movies like this, meaning that even if there is any character growth, just like with Marvel movies, it'll be snuffed out with some type of joke at the worst time possible. Brandon, do you care about this movie? Well, like, did you consider yourself a fan growing up?
Sure. It wasn't like a super fan situation, you know, like we drew comic pages in school when we were bored, you know. So back then it was cool to have comic books still at school. Everybody was like, holy shit, you know, he's got like the #1 Punisher, like, wow, you know. And
But
people were stealing comics.
Did you watch the He-Man
it was when it was on.
animation?
Yeah, when it was on. You know, you had your choice of things to watch back then when you were young. A lot of us focused, you know, in on like Toonami and stuff like that when that got launched, because that was just the best like 4 hours of, you know, cartoons and stuff you were gonna get. Mighty Max, you know, like what the hell was the other one? Johnny Quest.
Johnny Quest?
Did you ever watch Johnny Quest? Yeah, it was awesome.
So the funny thing is, He-Man wasn't necessarily my thing. It was more my brother's thing. But I just feel now what we are seeing, and I'll get into a little bit more about the press tour and stuff like that.
And you were right about Thundercats. I feel like I leaned harder to
into
Thundercats.
Yeah. So Supergirl is looking to open between $47 and $65 million, looking at a total domestic run on the low end of $107 million, on the high end $181 million. That would be horrible even on a minor budget for the, on a $100 million budget for them, because you're not going to break even. But the budget for this movie was still $165 to $170 million, which means they have a $425 million break even point. All of these movies are tracking similar to or well below Solo, which finished at like $393 million. And Supergirl has to contend with like one of the busiest months on either side of it, meaning Toy Story 5, which is going to have like legs all the way to Canada. It's going to stay at the box office for a very long time. I have no doubt about that. Minions and Monsters, which, the parents who might actually want to go and see a Supergirl movie because they're that age are probably going to bring their kids to see Minions and Monsters. And then a couple weeks after that, you've got Moana 2. Moana live action, not Moana 2. Moana 2 already came out. Yep. And then you get into this stuff about the messaging in the press tour. So first we will look at what they were saying about some of the He-Man stuff, which of course made it about toxic masculinity, because that's what everybody wants to hear about. One of the possible explanations in this conversation around the movie gradually shifting away from He-Man, Skeletor, Eternia, and Adventure, instead members of the creative team began discussing modern themes surrounding masculinity and gender roles. Earlier this year, director Travis Knight described Skeletor, the bad guy, the cool bad guy, and from everything I've said, one of the best parts, everything that I've heard, one of the best parts of the movie, Jared Leto notwithstanding, say what you want, he described Skeletor as the embodiment of toxic masculinity while discussing Jared Leto's portrayal of the iconic villain. Oddly enough, Jared Leto is the perfect example of toxic male feminism.
That's why he was kind of perfect for that role, honestly.
Exploring changing perceptions of masculinity and comparing modern attitudes to those of the 1980s. The best thing you could have done at this time would be to not talk about it as if there was a difference between masculinity now and in the 80s. You should have just portrayed it as masculinity in the 80s and been unapologetic about what you were showing people. Meanwhile, the actress playing Tila, Camila Mendez, told Entertainment Weekly that her character was affected by toxic masculinity just as much as the men in the film. Mendez added that Tila has essentially adopted masculinity to protect herself in this very masculine world, and that it was part of how her character survives.
I hate everything about that statement. Like, literally every part of that statement sucks. It is so annoying that they fall back on this toxic masculinity trope every time they want to complain.
Thing is, the movie probably doesn't have much of this messaging at all. It's probably layered in there so much, but the actors can't keep it to themselves.
My biggest concern with it is kind of the direction that they've taken with these characters. Now, the last Superman that we saw was a lot more lighthearted and comical, whereas Henry Cavill's, Superman was very, very serious. It was a serious movie, Zack Snyder notwithstanding. He likes to do that. This, for me, she's got this kind of drunk sorority girl kind of character, as we saw at the end of that Superman movie.
Yes.
She kind of comes back and thanks for watching them, bitch. You know, like I'm like.
We're gonna talk about the Supergirl marketing or the stuff that we're talking about as well. But yes, I agree with you. Goes on and says, whether those comments were fair or not, they landed awkwardly with the fan base that largely remembers Masters of the Universe as a straightforward fantasy adventure about heroes, villains, swords, monsters, and larger-than-life action. I saw a really interesting, another thing that I heard that was really interesting, they said is like, what people now believe or imagine as 80s camp wasn't played for camp in the 80s. It was played straight. It only looks camp because time has passed and you see things differently. Now they insert the camp there as if it was always part of the storytelling when that wasn't necessarily the way things were.
Yeah, it seems like they can't help themselves but make everything about toxic masculinity and feminism. It seems like even if something doesn't actually relate to that, for them, all roads lead back to hating men. Is what it comes to. At least in my opinion, that's what I've noticed in all of these movies, all of these promotions. How much that actually affects people going to the movies, I don't know. We're plugged in more than the average person, but it does annoy me still. Definitely annoys me.
We have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie,
Hello.
our insider on the inside of Hollywood, who says, I am willing to bet that 2026 may break the record for the year with the most films over a budget of $150 million that didn't make their money back. That didn't make their break-even point. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny too because, so in 2023, was that the year that Oppenheimer came out and Barbie? Yeah,
yes.
There was 4 movies. I've mentioned this dozens of times. There was 4 movies in the top 10 that made a ton of money that all managed to do it on a budget of $100 million. Now, Super Mario Brothers, Mario was one of them. Barbie cost $100 million. Oppenheimer cost $100 million. I don't remember what some of the other ones were, but all those movies were making bank at the box office. $1 billion. Oppenheimer didn't make $1 billion, but it made very, very close to $1 billion. But they got those budgets down to about $100 million. I think that's a good shooting point. I mean, it's a whole ton of money, but compared to the $250 million budgets we were seeing and more, post-COVID, I think that's a good place to shoot for. But then when Captain America Brave New World came out last year, they started throwing this, like, what was it, $185 million budget around that everybody with 2 functioning eyes and a brain understood wasn't possible, given how much time the script had been rewritten, redone, and they turned it into a Frankenfilm that looked nothing like it was originally pitched. Nobody bought it. They didn't buy those numbers when they gave it for Thunderbolts or anything like that. Doesn't matter. You need to get the budgets down on all of them, and none of this stuff from these studios is helping when there are YouTubers now making movies that are taking these guys out to lunch and leaving them there. And this is why it matters. I read an interview with Kane Parsons, and he is 20 years old. He is unbelievably well spoken. He's unbelievably well read. He has a lot of grace, and he has a lot of humility in what he's doing. He wants to learn. He wants to continue to create. He didn't seem to portray the same type of ego you see from so much of it, and he's a great person to shepherd forward his projects. So when they say they want to make Backrooms 2, which I saw today, you can look to his body of work on his YouTube channel and be like, okay, there at least makes a little bit of sense there. And for the most part, he seems grateful for where he's at, and he doesn't seem to have a whole lot to say about stuff that would annoy a lot of other people. That doesn't seem to be the case here. So this is what they were saying about Supergirl and what the movie's about. And again, this is not to dunk on the premise of the film, which I am sure will have a little bit of layer to it in a lot of special effects. Fine, whatever. But if you're going to sell a movie, He-Man on toxic masculinity and Supergirl on trauma, I just think people are tired, bro. It says, for Millie Alcock, it was reading the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic that unlocked what DC boss Gunn wanted Kara in his movie universe to be. I understood at that time that James is trying to do something very different and unexpected with her, she told Empire Magazine. She's such a good contrast to Superman because she's a survivor of trauma in the purest sense. I was excited to play somebody so beautifully flawed and resilient. If you lost your entire planet and people, you'd probably be messed up too. I don't remember the last time they showed me a ton of female characters that weren't like this. This feels like the majority of what you see these days with most of these things. So I don't actually buy that people will find this to be unique. None of what I've seen from the response to the trailers shows any massive level of interest that says that showing a messy girl is in any way something groundbreaking. Euphoria made an entire TV show out of that and being whores. So
True.
there's
True.
there's just not much they can do with this stuff that is going to feel very, very different unless they're willing to write a more traditionally hopeful character. For instance, Michael is going to make $1 billion at the box office.
Yeah,
do you
that's
know
crazy.
what probably won't make $1 billion at the box office? Michael 2 Electric Boogaloo, that covers all of the other stuff that happened after the fact. Not because people necessarily believe it or want to pretend like it didn't happen, but because it doesn't ingratiate the audience to want to come out, spend a ton of money at the theater to go see something with such difficult subject matter. And it certainly prevents people from wanting to go see it again. Right? Like, Michael is doing well because people are going, I mean, because it's killing it overseas, and Michael is like the biggest pop culture icon of all time, Michael Jackson is, but because people are going to see it 2, 3, 4 times, I just don't buy that the Supergirl story about her being messy is somehow good. Also, they're talking about Craig Gillespie, who's the director of this movie, as somebody who's been making movies about complicated characters, being I, Tonya, which a lot of people liked, and Cruella, which I don't know anybody in the world that liked or saw.
I saw it.
Cruella.
Okay, hold on. I didn't go out of my way to see this thing.
Oh, she's going to make excuses.
No, we watched it when I was working for a summer school after school program. So basically they go to summer school in the morning, and then we have like the after school programs that help kids get like
Is this the Emma Stone
socialized,
one?
integrated.
I thought it was
the live action one.
Was it Emma Stone? Oh, Cruella, yes. I was
Cruella,
thinking, I was like,
yeah.
I, Tonya was Margot Robbie, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or
no.
somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I could be totally wrong about that.
Yeah, and we saw that, or we watched it. One of the days we had a movie day. It was too hot to go and do, and like our field trip got canceled or something. So we did watch it. I don't remember that much of it. I remember having to like at one point we were like nervous because we're like, is this really the censored version? Because there was like, you know,
So you're
one or
saying it
two
wasn't
things-
memorable?
No. I remember watching it simply because
Well, you should
a field
never-
trip got canceled, and then we like needed to, and it was like last minute. This place canceled on us because like, oh, it's a little too hot. We're like, you're a pool. What are you talking about? But they can't. I probably didn't want to deal with like 30 middle schoolers, which is fine. But
That's what I say to Tim every time he gets warm in an area for having his beanie on. I'm like, you're a pool. Like,
you are literally a pool.
you're literally a
Timothy.
pool. Why?
Yep.
I like this from Box Office Theory. It made me laugh. It said, unfortunately, this was in their box office breakdown about the what's the goings on with He-Man and Supergirl. This is what it said. Unfortunately, female-led superheroes have a mixed history in the wake of blockbuster performances by 2017's Wonder Woman and 2019's Captain Marvel, as well as the COVID-era success of Black Widow. The likes of Birds of Prey, The Marvels, Madam Web have fallen far short of those box office standards for varying reasons. Now, Wonder Woman was successful on its own. I thought Wonder Woman was a great movie. It was a great fish out of water story. I quite enjoyed Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. You know, Kal-El, no, notwithstanding from Justice League, whatever. Captain Marvel, you know, the reason why you see Captain Marvel as a success and the Marvels as not a success is because Captain Marvel would not have been, at least not $1 billion success, if it wasn't for its strategic placement in the Marvel lineup during the end of Phase 3. And when all of the stakes were removed, nobody cared anymore, and then you had to hear some bullshit explanation as to how Nick Fury lost an eye that completely destroyed and besmirched the good name of Captain America Winter Soldier, which is still the best Marvel movie they ever made.
Yep.
You get an idea of where people are. And the success of Black Widow is not even really all that much a success. The only reason that you can gauge it that way is because you didn't get a full box office release because it was day and date with Disney+. They released it in the theaters. And then she sued Disney and won. Scarlett Johansson did for lost revenue.
Yeah.
All right. I don't look. The next generation of filmgoers does seem to be Gen Z. They are spending more time and money at the theaters than other generations. Gen X isn't going to the theaters, so the continued ravaging, destruction, pillaging of their properties doesn't seem to be netting the returns they used to do. It might be time to rethink those strategies. Of course, that does mean that we're going to end up with, I guess, back rooms to Electric Boogaloo. I did post a meme the other night. I said, when you no-clip into the back rooms and you look around, but it's just a screening of The Mandalorian and Grogu because the theater's empty.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Punch right in the balls.
Not good.
Going.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the hypocrisy of Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo is one of my favorite people to talk about on this channel. He really is. I always enjoy talking about Mark Ruffalo. Anti-billionaire Mark Ruffalo endorses billionaire Tom Steyer for California governor. Yes, the California primary is happening today, which means Spencer Pratt is on the ballot over there for mayor. And Mark Ruffalo has endorsed billionaire Tom Steyer for California governor. I do not believe he is going to win. He's sitting in third place right now next to Steve Hilton in second, who's a Republican.
Yeah.
And then Xavier Becerra, who's like, he was like a Biden era Health and Human Services guy, or something like that. He seems to be in the front runner. It was Swalwell at one point, and he got Me Too'd into like another. He got Me Too'd into the back rooms at this point.
Yeah, he did.
This is what he had to say. Actor Mark Ruffalo. This is from Breitbart. It says actor Mark Ruffalo has endorsed billionaire Tom Steyer in California's governor's race, even though the movie star regularly rails against billionaires. Yes, he does. The Disney Marvel star delivered his endorsement of Steyer on an Instagram post on Thursday. This is what he said. I'm going to put it up on screen here again. Tom has spent the last 2 decades... Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, Tom Steyer, he's like a billionaire hedge fund guy.
Yeah, did he run for something
President in 2020 and he failed.
That's what it was. 'Cause
correct.
I remember that campaign a little bit.
So it says, Tom has spent the best part of 2 decades working to stop climate change. Becerra is bought and paid for by big oil and other corporations that have spent nearly $50 million to elect him. So you see right here a real, actual, clear dividing line between a Democrat and a progressive in that sense.
Yeah.
Meaning that the progressive is not going to tolerate a regular Democrat who takes money from big oil. Though Ruffalo admits that he is, quote, no fan of billionaires, adding that he sees no reason for people to have that kind of wealth. He draws the line at the ladder that he pulls up as a millionaire and says that you should not take more than me because that would make you greedy.
Yes.
Personally, I believe that if you take that perspective, you should give away everything but exactly the amount you need to pay for your lodging, your food, and your transportation to and from your job. Everything else should go to those less fortunate than you, lest you be a hypocrite. But that's just my personal opinion. He goes on. He goes, he sidestepped... He's not a fan of billionaires, saying that there's no reason for people to have that kind of wealth. He sidestepped the issue by attempting to distinguish Steyer from an oligarch, seemingly unaware that Steyer is using his vast wealth to buy political power and influence like an oligarch. Well, I'm not a fan of billionaires and see no reason for people to have that kind of wealth. I think there is a distinction between an oligarch and a billionaire, he said. One uses their wealth and power to amass more wealth and power, driven purely by greed. So basically that's his progressive leftist interpretation of your motives as a human being who's looking to make money. And he adds the generic term of greed on there without really defining what that means. Like, at what point is being a millionaire not greedy when there's so many people who don't even have jobs that could use some of his millions?
No, and this guy's worth, what, 35 million?
Mark Ruffalo is a millionaire.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo, I think, is worth somewhere between $30 and $40 million.
Think about all the people he could help. Even though he gives, from what I understand, he gives a lot to charity, but you could always give more.
He's also had like a 30-year career. So really, in retrospect, if you're thinking back to like the big days, when films were popular and money was being made by these actors, 30 million in 30 years isn't a whole lot, but you saw half of that came just from Endgame alone for him.
Yeah.
So really, he gets put on the map with that in the last 10 years, and now he's talking about how people are making too much money, but he's up in the 35. So
there was some other stuff that he said in the past. He says it's not the immigrants, it's the billionaires. He said that at a No Kings protest.
That doesn't make any sense.
He said it's
two separate issues, friends.
What's not the billionaires?
He was defending immigrants and arguing that billionaires are making lives unbearable for people. Saying, it's not the illegal immigrant who's making your life miserable. It's a billionaire who's
that's
making your life miserable.
Yeah, because they're the ones killing people.
Is it possible that it's both?
It's time to take our country back from this extreme wealth that has its hands all over the power of the nation, become a beautiful burgeoning democracy that works for the people and not just the very wealthy. Again, this was at a No Kings protest. And he says, the billionaire up at the top is stealing you blind. And you are worried about the poorest of the poor ruining your life. He was talking about Donald Trump and the billionaires and all that stuff. So the commentary on billionaires is a consistent thing for him. He goes on, this is his continued comments on Tom Steyer, who he is endorsing. Remember, who is a hedge fund billionaire.
Yeah.
Tom is a progressive who will work for the people of California, not to enrich himself or corporations. If elected, he will appoint an administration of people who are progressive and solution-oriented. He will be a bulwark against Trump. Tom is calling for ICE to be abolished and will hold ICE accountable for crimes in California. He is against the corporate merger of Paramount and Warner Brothers. Yeah, I knew that was coming somewhere because that is like Mark Ruffalo is on a one-man jihad against Paramount, which I guess
I'm just curious how he can. I mean, I get it. It's like do as I say, not as I do, right? But the Tom Steyer founded Next Gen America, which is a PAC, which buys and pays for the same people he's claiming are bought and paid for by PACs. He runs a super PAC that essentially, they say it used to be just Next Gen Climate, I think is what it was called. And it used to be a climate political action committee that would help, I don't know, stop whatever. I don't even know what they claim.
That's kind of what PACs do, though, isn't it? Like,
no, it is. But
we don't have any money. We get everything from donations
but
and blah, blah, blah.
But he's claiming he has a problem with the people that are bought and paid for.
Right.
And it's like, but Tom Steyer is one of those people that is buying and paying for people.
That's a natural PAC front, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it says it's a progressive advocacy group. So he is like progressive.
Oh, yeah, no, he is.
Yeah,
so here's the other thing that I thought was funny. We all just saw Spirit Airlines crash, like TWA Flight 800, go out of business after a potential buyout. Was it JetBlue wanted to buy them back in 2023 or something like that? One of these companies.
There was also like an attempted public buyout, wasn't there, where people were trying to raise money to buy the airline back?
Yes.
Can somebody tell me if anybody's paying attention to the chat, who it was? I thought it was JetBlue. It was like the one who's the influencer that's married to the JetBlue guy?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember. But anyways, I thought it was JetBlue was going to buy Spirit Airlines, and then the government intervened and said, you cannot do that. And lo and behold, Spirit Airlines goes out of business. This is why I think this is funny. He is against the corporate merger of Paramount and Warner Brothers, and he will work to make Hollywood a thriving industry based in California again. Tom supports taxing the rich, including himself, whereas Becerra has not supported calls to tax billionaires. So he's basically saying, like, even if Becerra did or wanted to, he's explicitly saying that the fact that he hasn't yet talked about it, and California is like ground zero for that idea of like the one-time billionaire wealth tax. That they were talking about, which is a huge deal. Ruffalo's hardcore progressive fans expressed disappointment, with many feeling that Steyer's very status as a billionaire disqualifies him from office. This is so disappointing to read this from you. Steyer could help millions of people without ever holding office with his money today, but instead he spent $300 million on his presidential run. And his governor run. Billionaires should not exist, said one user. Well, it's like they say, first of all, these are the people that are literally so, they're even dumber than me, and you guys know that I am the 80 IQ person here at Timcast, but they're the people who believe that he's got all those billions as liquid in the bank.
I know. I'll never understand. People think that when you say, oh, they're a billionaire, they're like, well, why don't they do something with that money? Well, that money is tied up in businesses. It's tied up in stocks. It's tied up in bonds. It's tied up in all these different things, like assets and everything.
For him,
hedge funds.
A hedge fund, yeah.
And I don't understand why. And also he's saying, oh, well, I'll even pay those taxes. Well, that's easy for you to say. But why are they saying that they can, they're going to, I'll pay it too. Well, yeah, I freaking hope so. Like, if you're going to tax the rich, Gotta tax yourself too. You are the rich, like you are the 1%.
I know that it's not the same race, but Spencer Pratt seems to be on. I almost said Chris Pratt, but I caught myself.
It's always so. I always wanted to say
It's very easy to do.
Spencer Pratt has done a very good job of staying rigidly on message in the same way that Mamdani did in New York City when Mamdani focused heavily on affordability in New York. Now, he hasn't really accomplished anything except for raid a pension
No,
fund
the way that he's been going about it actually is kind of weird.
and get the state to bail him out.
Now he's got people calling for his head in the street.
But right now, over on Kalshi, it looks like the top floated option here looks like Becerra, Hilton, Steyer. It would be very funny if Hilton got second, because if I remember correctly, it's Steve Hilton, right? And he's a Republican. Trump backed him.
Yes.
Correct? They do what are called jungle primaries in California, which means that that would put Hilton on the ballot after the primary in the general election, right?
Yeah.
That would be very, very interesting, and we'll have to wait and see where it goes. And before we move on, just because I have a cruel sense of irony, given all that Mark Ruffalo has said about Paramount, right now, Mark Ruffalo's $100 million Forgotten Fantasy feature heads to Paramount Plus 17 years after flopping at the box office.
Great.
Yes, I don't know how he feels about this. I would love to know how he feels about his movie. It was Where the Wild Things Are. I never saw
We made it, guys.
wow.
We made it. That's how he feels.
Did
We
you see
made it.
Wait, 17 years ago. How old was I?
Did you see this movie?
I think we saw it as a field trip.
Okay, well, it is...
How many field trips did you take to go see
There's
movies?
nothing
Okay,
but field trips.
I went to the wrong fucking school. What
Hang
is
on,
going on?
whoa. One of them.
This is what's wrong with the
one of
education
them-
system in America.
One of them, I was like a supervisor, whatever. The other, I was the child in the thing.
2 field trips in your lifetime. That is insane.
Actually, I hate to break it to you, I've been on a lot more than that. But I think in like, what grade?
Because you did Model UN, which is worse somehow.
I hate the UN
You know what we
so
got to watch
much.
in school? 9/11 live on TV. That's
We
what we
also
got to
saw
watch.
Tanya on
9th grade in
TVs.
homeroom.
Everybody get to your homerooms. There's an emergency. Everyone in the hallway's like, bro, we got bombed, dog. We got bombed. Everybody, they blew us up,
And
man.
I'm
They
like,
attacked us, bro.
let's
We're
go
dead.
watch Where the Wild Things Are.
Yep. Yep. Public
So,
school,
yes.
people. Public school.
Mark is now currently being featured over there in Paramount Plus, which I'm sure
Great.
fills him with a certain sense of dread and sadness.
Yes.
All right, let's move on. It's time for Olivia to tell everybody about the great Lego theft of 2026.
This is an absolutely insane story that goes way beyond even my comprehension because there are so many moving parts all of the sudden. So a father and son in Oregon say that they consigned a $200,000 set of Star Wars Lego collection items to a Bricks and Minifigs franchise store in late 2023. When the store changed hands about a year later, most of the collection mysteriously went missing. Well, this has blown way, I don't even want to say out of proportion because it hasn't, but it has gone absolutely viral after a YouTuber named Reckless Ben picked up the story in March of this year. He's now been arrested twice in Utah for trying to confront the new owners about this. So he figured out what was going on. He's like, okay, I talked to the guy, which the name of them, I believe it's Brian Mansell, and then his 83-year-old father. They spent about 15 years assembling this collection, and then they were selling it so that they could get money for, I believe, like help a college fund for younger family members and some health issues as well.
It was 780 sets in over
Oh yeah, no, I'm getting there.
1,200 minifigures.
Oh yeah, and one of these sets actually is worth over $10,000 in secondary markets, and that is the Lego Star Wars Cloud City set. So what happened, I watched some of this video. What happened was this guy, had a consignment deal with the store.
It's called Bricks and
Minifigs. Yes, which is Bricks and Minifigures, which is an offshoot. Basically, I would say buy and sell, but it's usually they consign Lego sets for people. You can buy used Lego sets for cheaper and build them, and they do the due diligence to make sure they have the pieces, that kind of thing.
Do you want to explain what consignment is for somebody who
Yeah,
might,
so
not know what
consignment is
is?
like, let's say that Brandon has a consignment shop for skateboards, and Tim says, here is a skateboard. When you sell it, I want a share of the money, but you're going to do the legwork to sell this for me because I am not going to do that.
And I'm going to take a percentage.
And
for
you're going to
selling
take a percentage and then give the rest
That's
to
how
Tim.
gun sales work a lot of the time.
Yes. And so Brandon
Post-market.
sells said skateboard, takes his percentage, gives the rest of the money to Tim, who is the owner still of this board. Brandon is just a middleman to sell it, if that gives you guys a good picture of what consignment is. So they gave this $200,000 Lego set to Bricks and Minifigs, who then sold, or didn't sell, they probably sold a couple of them, but they then took this under, their wing. This old, her name is Crystal, I believe, Crystal Logorman, who was the old operator of the location in Oregon. Basically, under the terms, 35% of the proceeds went to the store, 65% would go to the Mancells, and the ownership of all the unsold sets would remain with the original owners, the Mancells, until they sold to a customer or they took the sets back because they weren't selling, whatever that might be. So the store ended up getting recuperated from this woman who was behind on some payments.
So it was a franchise store.
They're all franchise
yes,
stores.
And she
all
owed
of them are
money
franchise
to
the main
corporation.
corporation. Yes, and they, so they reclaimed it, basically, like repoed the store, and then they brought on 2 new guys. It's really complicated. That's why I'm trying to make sure I have everything in my head right. But once these 2 new guys came in, they are literally on camera admitting, this is Joshua Johnson and Brandon Best. Great names, alliteration wise. But they took over and basically said that, yeah, well, that's a business end thing now, Crystal. Don't worry about the $200,000 Lego sets. That's on our end now. Basically didn't abide by the rules of this contract that they had laid out after changing ownership, and the Lego sets were either missing or claimed that they didn't even have them in the first place. So they are allegedly, be very careful here, illegally seized by the store now. Again, 83-year-old man's collection. Come on, pick on someone else. Actually, don't do it at all. But they said that they only found about $2,000 to $5,000 worth of sets in the store. So this all happened in 2023, 2024. It's all happening at this time. Enter Reckless Ben YouTuber. He comes in 2026, confronts the new franchisee, who the second he brings it up on camera, immediately when he says, "Oh, it's for the Mancells," she's like, "Get out of the store. Leave right now. Get out of here."
This is the first lady, right?
This is the manager, not Crystal. Crystal didn't do anything wrong here. This was the new owners, like a manager that was working under these new guys, Joshua and Brandon. And so then they got him arrested on both stalking and criminal trespass for trying to ask questions about, like, hey, I'm a friend of this guy. I'm here to repossess some of his items for him.
He's
I
the
can get him
Nick
on the
Shirley
phone.
of Legos.
Literally the Nick Shirley of corporations.
So I heard that Nick Shirley is like a Republican op. So
yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah. But we like Nick Shirley. And this video has garnered over 3 million views and is for some reason just now getting traction. So he traveled from Utah to go up to Oregon to confront these owners. So now this is cross state lines, which is now it's like federal.
So Kash Patel is like.
So now
hot
it's
on the
like
trail
the
now.
FBI is getting involved. What they did, it is insane. This all started with Legos, but what is uncovered is this really corrupt corporation, a corrupt police force who, this guy was trying to deliver paperwork.
So Bricks and Minifigs is the corrupt corporation.
Yes.
Here. So the thing about that, it looks like, if I had to guess, that the lady who owned the store prior, given the fact that she wasn't able to keep up on the payments, probably wasn't the best at bookkeeping either.
But there was a contract. There is a contract laid out. He had it in hand when he went into that store.
But I'm saying, she didn't do any of the stuff on her end to ensure that it was taken care of once the Legos left his hand.
So she put it for sale. But those are expensive sets. They might not sell right away. But when they repossessed the store, they decided not to continue this, but they were still legally this guy's Lego sets, so they couldn't just take them, even though they're in the store. They're still consignment. There was a consignment agreement.
It's not like they bought the store and all its property because they don't own all the property.
They don't own it.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, he traveled from wherever he lives, but this is crossing. There's 2 states involved in this. There's Oregon, and then Utah is where these franchisee owners live, I believe. And so while Reckless Ben is trying to deliver this paperwork to sue Bricks and Minifigs on behalf of the Mancell family, he is arrested, and he legally has to serve those papers to start that process, you have to legally be served. Hence all the different TV things where like you are served and you're like, oh no, you know, whatever. Every
Subpoenas,
show
yeah.
does that.
Yeah.
So that's legally something you have to do. He was going to basically give these papers to them so that they know they are served. Now they're trying to sue him. He gets arrested trying to basically like countersue or deliver papers to them. And they will not release the body cam footage of this arrest. He is claiming that they were either wrongfully arresting him. He's calling it viral extortion. And there is, I'm trying to read through. So we have an article here. I'm reading down the timeline here. They released a 26-minute statement defending their arrests in American Fork, which now this is putting its little tentacles into the Mormon church because all of these police people are members of the Mormon church. And that is like, apparently there's like corruption among these specific police officers.
We need Kai to get involved.
Dude, I know. I need Kai to get on the ground on this one. So where are we? What is going on? So the dispute is that they have now allegedly illegally seized these items, okay, from this old man and his family. YouTuber goes, exposes all of this in a 1 hour and 25-minute video, which touches on not just this, but then there's a Lego cult, and then there's other stuff going on. I wish I could explain better, but you'd have to go watch the video to understand what's going on here. It is insane. They release a statement, Bricks and Minifigs, denying any responsibility for this. But when he goes to the corporate office, they say, you have to go to the store. And when he goes to the store, they say that's coming down from corporate.
Right.
So there's no communication between corporate and franchise here, or they're just trying to ignore it.
Right.
Okay.
Until you stop paying attention. And,
Right.
But he's not ignoring it.
Yeah.
He's not ignoring it. So he gets arrested on multiple charges, even though he found some loopholes around certain laws. Again, it's very complicated. But they released a 26-minute video this past Friday.
Meaning the police did.
The police did, or
Yes.
a 26-minute statement about this. The CEO, this was 3 days ago, the CEO has publicly apologized to the Mansell family on a podcast and is offering professional mediation. The GoFundMe for the family has reached $128,000, and it has a $140,000 goal. He's released new videos about the arrest since then. So bottom line, according to this article, active civil and criminal litigation across Oregon and Utah, so that's making this federal. There's 3 competing narratives from corporate, the former franchisee, and the Mansell family. There's no legal questions to be resolved at this moment because there's so many of them that they need to like hone in on. And the corporate apology today, this was written a couple days ago, is the first sign of a possible off-ramp. I don't think it's going to be an off-ramp. And so he's publicly apologizing. But this collection has 780 sets, over 1,000 minifigures that this person should have back if they haven't sold any of them. Or he should get the fair market value he would have gotten for them from this corporation, because there was a contract in place signed and your whole business model is based on consignment. Now, every single video he has done on this has had a minimum of 1 million views, but his biggest video has about 3 million views. And as good friend who is in the chat, I don't know if he's there right now, but he was in the chat. I believe he's still there. And Discord member Stork, he was talking to me about this today, and he's the one that pitched this to me earlier. And he was saying, you know, this has everything wrong with the legal system, but it also ties into entertainment with YouTube and with everything else. I mean, this story is insane. Mm-hmm. It touches everything wrong with like the legal system, corruption, and everyone's going to be like, well, how does this tie into pop culture? Well, a YouTuber was the one to expose all of this.
Legos is about as pop culture as it gets these days.
I love Legos.
You're a huge Lego fan.
And you know what's funny is
It's time honored.
Yep.
There's Bricks and Minifigs kind of in the area, like more towards DC. And I've always been like, man, I want to go out one day and like go when we have a little bit more saved up, you know, get a nice set for myself or whatever. Now I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pay the absurd Lego price purely because this is insane. How do you just take someone's collection on consignment, admit to it on video? Because there's like security footage from that she had from when she was the franchise owner. The other lady had a video of her saying, well, we have to make sure, like, this is a huge collection, it's a huge liability. And they were like, that's on us. Like, we know we have it. That's on our end. And then they're denying having it when they've admitted it on video.
Yeah, it's Weasel. It's Weasel.
Like,
that's all it is.
And if this YouTuber had never exposed this, it would have never gotten out there.
That's exactly what they
That's
wanted.
insane.
So the fact
I know.
that this guy's done that is massive. And on top of that, as shitty as the situation is for this old guy, I feel bad for him. If anybody touched my Legos, I'd break their fucking fingers. But it's one of those things where with the exposure with this, as long as this keeps going in this direction, especially with the GFMs and all of that stuff, this dude could end up collecting all of the money and then some on what he actually gave up. It's just, it needs to drive traction and attention. That's all it really is. Until it's popular enough for everybody to hate on these guys. These guys will realize, holy shit, our business is going to go under for this. We need to own this publicly, take care of this now and settle it.
And you guys should all go to Reckless Ben's YouTube page, and not now, but afterwards,
tell them they're fake and gay.
Watch this video. Watch the video, because go to 17 minutes. If you just need to get hooked, go to about 17 minutes in and watch the part about the Lego cult. And I would be remiss not to mention that. You guys will be locked in to watch this entire 1 hour and 25-minute video. It is the most absurd and insane thing I have ever watched, and it just keeps going.
It also reminded me of this story from last year about the Lego theft ring that was going on. If you guys saw this story, police in Texas arrested a man suspected of nearly 24 thefts across multiple Texas cities. Among the stolen merchandise was thousands of dollars worth of Lego products. From what I remember, somebody saying Legos like increase in value like constantly.
Oh,
you can't touch them though. You got to leave them in the box. You got to put them away.
Which is stupid.
Don't
I
want to
build my sets.
I mean, I do too. That's like buying shoes and then people put them up in cases on the wall and shit. I'm like, I wear everything that I buy. I don't care how expensive it is because it doesn't make sense to me.
Because why would you spend
I get collecting things, and I'm not knocking collectors. Don't get it twisted. But most of the shit that I buy, I'm either going to build, put on display, say, hey, I did that, I made that. That's, I own that. That's me.
Something I made. Yeah.
You know, not like, oh, look at this box of shit.
I have so many, and I keep saying I'll show you guys, but now it's relevant, so I can actually show them on Thursday. I have. A lot of them are knockoffs because Lego is very expensive. But I have a lot of sets that I've built. I'm in the middle of building the Tower Bridge in London right now.
Dude, the fact that like Erector sets didn't outlive Lego. Like Erector was way cooler. You know what I'm saying? And like Lego was like, no, we're simple. We're keeping it.
I love Lego.
I like Connects.
Connects were good too.
I saw this one as well. California man charged after Lego larceny worth $25,000. Again,
this is $200,000.
Dude, if I ever have a kid, I'm naming it Lego larceny. That's awesome.
Lego larceny minor.
Yeah.
All right.
LLM.
Let's go.
All right, guys, let's move on. What would you like to see? Cringe or cringe?
Always cringe first. Okay. Especially if Brandon's here.
We can do that. We'll start with the cringe. What is this one about, and how bad is it?
Scale of 10, it's probably about a 7 or 8, considering they got the mom in on it.
Okay.
If they didn't have the mom in on it, it would just be like whatever, but it's the mom that's in on it. I don't even know what the sound is. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
It says, mom reveals her true self.
Oh, we've never seen that.
Hashtag furry Instagram. Hey.
Mom, are you a furry? No. Yes!
Mind you, this
all
was
of
on
our
short
IQs
notice
just
today.
got lower.
They did, collectively.
Over the weekend, I when I was out for a run, I was listening to old Dose of Buckley videos, and I listened to his video from like 11 years ago on Otherkin, and it's kind of crazy how mentally ill our society has gotten since then. It is
insane. It's even worse that the mom was part of this, though. I just paused it on Brandon having the most like
that look. Somebody needs to make
I'm gonna screenshot it and
somebody
try to
make
get
a freaking icon. I don't have an
Yeah.
icon yet in anything, so that would be a perfect first icon.
I'm gonna put you as an emoji in the Discord.
Yeah, that's what I need. I need a Discord emoji.
I got
Thank
you. I'm gonna screenshot this and I'll do it later.
See, Olivia's getting shit done.
That's what I do here.
Here at Timcast Studios, getting shit done.
Getting shit done.
Cue to the day from Mia Richards. This is Rolo. My husband found him a couple of years ago in the middle of the road during a rainstorm. He was very shy then and afraid of everything. He's part of the family now.
Oh,
he's a pupper in a blanket. He looks like a hot dog. Look at him.
Look, he is so cute. He kind of reminds me of Tank, our friend Tank, but bigger.
Yes.
He's a big Tank.
Yes.
Guys, I found another picture of Tank, by the way. They released all the photos from that market, and there was another photo of Tank. And I'm a big Tank fan. Also, I will take this moment to update you all on Mocha because the chat was asking, and there wasn't a good moment to do it yet. I got home on Friday. Mocha had split her ear open. She has done this in the past. You guys know her claws are kind of nasty. Her talons. Well, she scratched her ear with blood everywhere. I mean everywhere, like puddles of blood. Because apparently the ears on cats bleed a lot. So I called her vet as I'm cleaning it up. I'm like, hey, guys, like, I know I'm supposed to come in next week. They said, bring her in. I said, okay, gotcha. So I did. And she's okay. A lot of money later. She's all right. She's cleaned up. You have to up her thyroid medication, but I know you guys care about her, and you guys always ask when I say that I have to take her into the vet or anything. So she's okay. She'll be fine. She's back to her normal self. She's not bleeding anymore, thankfully, but her little house, we're gonna need to get her a new one because it looks like a freaking murder scene in there because she shook her head at one point when she was bleeding until it's like splatted.
It looks like a crime scene diorama.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And she's okay. She's old. She can't hear anything, but they told me that's nothing to be concerned about when it comes to her ears. It was like bound to happen because she's had so many ear issues. So drop your mochas in the chat, you guys. Give her love. We love her, and she will be okay. Mocha over Brett. Good call. Look at you guys.
I will turn this podcast around.
I will turn this podcast around right now. So, and the other cats are okay too. Thank you, Katie. They are wonderful. So, thank you guys for asking.
As I get older, I keep going back to this unwavering feeling that at some point I'm just going to go out and buy like a hamster like the old days, and I'm going to build one of those like hamster tunnels that goes around like my whole house.
That's a good idea.
Because
you know,
you're just
I always wanted that
you're
as like a
gonna
kid.
bring a girl home and they're gonna be like,
yeah, I'm gonna come home every day and he's gonna be like, what's up, man?
He's gonna like meet a girl. He's gonna take her back, and then she's gonna be like,
actually, you know what?
but
Chinchilla.
honestly,
He's like the
oh,
hamster.
get a chinchilla,
Chinchillas.
please.
They are fast as hell.
Chinchillas are so cute.
Chinchilla would be dope.
But then that weeds out a good or a bad woman, because that's a green flag. And if a woman's like, ugh, it's like, okay, bye.
The hamster
Bye.
maze stays open during.
No, women will not even be invited in my house. That house belongs to my chinchilla now. That's how this
Yes,
is
indeed.
going.
All right.
Unless she brings meatloaf.
Exactly. There you go. All right. Let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. This is a story that I didn't have a great through line for initially. Mainly when it comes down to it, stories like this are less about the actor, in this case Val Kilmer, and more just about the fact that in Hollywood there just seems to be a certain type of person who is an absolutely deplorable soul. And a lot of people would say that Val Kilmer might even have been the type of guy who would have fit into this category back when he was working. He was historically known to be very difficult to work with. But then we get stories like this. Remember, Val Kilmer passed away on April 1st last year. He actually has he's going to be in a new movie coming out made through AI, which we were going to talk about on here and we never got to. But now this director that nobody has ever heard of, named Adam Marcus, who worked with Val Kilmer in a movie in 2008 called Conspiracy, is coming out on Threads of all places, where the only way it could be worse is if you were making stuff saying stuff on Blue Sky, saying that Val Kilmer was the worst human being that he had ever known, and that is saying something. So let's read this story. It says, Val Kilmer dubbed the worst human being ever by director 1 year after actor's passing. He says, I will speak ill of the dead. Again, because you have no decorum, because you were a bad person.
No respect.
Adam Marcus, I'm going to call him Adam Mucus, claimed Val Kilmer was the worst human being more than a year after the actor died of pneumonia. The director, who worked with the late Batman Forever star in the 2008 action thriller Conspiracy, took to Threads over the weekend in a now deleted post to call out Kilmer. So he couldn't stand on business. He deleted his words. Hashtag micro intellect Monday.
Wait,
I don't
that's
know
what he said in it?
I don't know what that is, but I'm sure your intellect is very micro. Sure.
Just like other
he
things.
says, to that time when I directed that guy, the guy who played Iceman in Doc Holliday, you know the one. He wrote alongside a photo of himself and Kilmer. Here's me and the putz working it out on the set of Conspiracy, he added. The filmmaker addressed fans who were upset at his negative comments about the late Top Gun star. Quote, and to any of you rolling your eyes because of the whole don't speak ill of the dead bullshit, F that, he reportedly wrote, and then later deleted again because he's not standing on
Coolest
business.
dude ever.
He added that if Kilmer did 1/10 of what he did to me, if he did 1/10 of what he did to me on set today, he would have been canceled in a blink. Worst human being I've ever known, and that is really saying something. They reached out to him for comments. Shockingly, he didn't have anything to say. They point out that Kilmer played William Spooky McPherson, who was a disabled Special Operations Marine wounded during a combat operation in Iraq. In his film, which, by the way, has very low reviews almost across the board. When McPherson visited a friend in the southwestern United States, he discovers that his pal had disappeared and no one would acknowledge that a person had ever lived there. Kilmer was previously labeled as very difficult to work with. Yes, that is true. And that is not really to the core of why I want to talk about this. There is a long history of comments from directors and actors and fellow collaborators who have said that Val Kilmer was an absolute nightmare to work with. Joel Schumacher, who worked with him on Batman Forever, called Kilmer childish and impossible and a psychologically disturbed human being. Reports of Kilmer being rude to crew, fighting with crew members, showing up late wrapped in blankets, speaking lines too quietly, and clashing with Schumacher, including reportedly not speaking to him for 2 weeks after being confronted. And an incident, again, this one, I don't know if this one's ever been proven, an incident where he allegedly burned a cameraman's sideburns with a cigarette while teasing him.
Oh.
These issues contributed to him not coming back to Batman and Robin. This also happened the following year in the island of Dr. Moreau. The original director, which was Richard Stanley, said that Val would arrive and an argument would immediately happen. Marlon Brando, who was on the movie, reportedly clashed with him several times, including allegedly throwing Kilmer's phone in a bush and criticizing his ego. Yes, large ego is something that has often been spoken of when it comes to Val Kilmer. The replacement director said that he didn't like Kilmer's work ethic. He said, "I don't want to be associated with him ever again." He reportedly told Kilmer to get off set after his final scene. Reported cast members were also really, really frustrated and calling agents asking to leave the project. All of that being what it was, whether he was difficult to work with, whether he was an absolute nightmare on set, fine, whatever. The fact that you would do this a year after his death, rather than at a time when maybe he still had some influence in Hollywood and could possibly affect whether you were going to get work in the future, it's just the worst type of clout chasing that I could think of. And I really do believe that in my lifetime, I have met some pretty terrible people. But to go out after the fact and decide to just say it just because you can, I think it speaks to your, like, if you want to prove yourself the professional, then you speak about it when you're alive, and you call him out and you talk to him about it, and then you move on.
He died like a dog. It's kind of what I feel like is happening here. It's say what you want about Kilmer. He from what I've seen and from what I've heard over the years about how he is on set, he was probably the original Jared Leto, when it came to working with people. But the man has done some pretty historic shit. And in my opinion, he really gained my respect with the reprisal of Top Gun. Yep. When he brought Iceman back, the man literally stood there, his esophagus eroding away, and did speaking scenes even though it was painful for him.
Well, they had to audio dub over it afterwards,
right?
And
because
fix it was so bad.
And that's the fact that he even did it, though. Like, to me, commands respect in some way, shape, or form. He chose to go out the way that he lived. That for me shows some goddamn respect. That's all. I don't, whatever. Tell me that you're bitter without telling me that you're bitter when you're a year later and you're like, this guy sucks, I don't care. It's not punk rock to talk shit a year after someone's dead. It's just not. I don't know.
Well, and to Brett's point, obviously Val Kilmer had a lot of say or a lot of influence in things, and so if he were to have someone called him out and he were to basically hit back at them, then he knows, okay, like, that could really not end my career. Well, maybe end my career, but it is such a cowardly thing to do it a year after somebody has died. And for all the bad things people say about politicians and all that, I'm happy they say it while they're alive, because at least you have the goal to say it while they're alive. I mean, granted, maybe it's not as controversial, but people talk crap about politicians and famous people a lot. But to say, okay, I don't want to talk about, I'm not going to do it. But once they can't say anything bad and they're, you know, like they're dead, well, then I guess I'll do it now for the people. Like, it's like putting out an entire story and then not naming names.
Yeah,
I'm so fed up with that.
How often do we do stories where that happens?
That,
right?
I mean, that happened in, you know, like political social media. Over the weekend, I saw a post of someone giving this entire diatribe about how somebody's been trying to go after somebody, blah, 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 and then said, well, I'm not going to name names. Name the names or shut up. And I don't mean that in a rude way. It's just, don't waste my time.
Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah, don't waste my time reading your post about how someone is doing this, where I'm sure you're going to tell me who's doing this, and then you say, well, I'm not going to name names. I'm going to be the bigger man. No, you're not. You're actually being just as petty by then saying all of this without putting a name to it, opening it up to speculation. You should tie a name to it. If you are so sure about what you're saying, tie a name to it, and do it while that person's there. Say it to their face, because there is nothing I hate more than, if you speak ill of the dead, you sure as hell have better well, can I get that sentence out? Have spoken ill of them when they were alive. Because obviously people are going to be like, well, you can't say anything bad about dead people. No, Hitler was a terrible person.
No, and I've said bad shit about Val, but it's really just because and this is topic of conversation here. It's come up multiple times, and I know this will probably spark conversation in the chat, but I didn't mind him as Batman. I hated him as Bruce Wayne.
Batman Forever. I actually liked him as Bruce Wayne.
I didn't like him as Bruce Wayne. That was my only grievance. I didn't mind him as Batman. I thought
him as Bruce Wayne was where he excelled.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get that from him. And maybe it was just because of the way that I was fed Bruce Wayne over the years that I wasn't. His reprisal was a little bit different than everybody else's. And, you know, Clooney had the kind of a similar thing going on where he just wasn't. It was just George Clooney in a mask, you know? Like,
he was also in Heat, which automatically makes Val Kilmer's opinion more important than this guy's. If we're going purely on resume, not to be too rude, but he's alive, so it's fine. So this guy, he wrote the 1993 movie Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, and he did the 2013 Texas Chainsaw, which nobody liked. So look. You see this type of stuff, and the fact that he so brazenly says, I will speak ill of the dead, tells me he understands the stigma around it and doesn't care because he doesn't have any sense of decorum.
And that's what makes it even worse. Like, it's bad, but it's even worse to say, yeah, I will speak ill of the dead, because he knows that's what people are going to come back and say. No, you should have done it while he was alive. You have no balls.
Well, that's baiting too. I mean, look at what it's triggered here. We're having a full-fledged conversation on a show about it.
True.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it gains traction being an asshole publicly to people that, you know, especially when you know, oh, most of people are not going to agree with this. Cool, I'm going to go viral with this. And then I just won't make a comment afterwards because, you know, I've already got my clicks.
Also, Kilmer did, as I think I mentioned in the intro to this episode today, he had, before he passed, been at least a bit introspective about his behavior in the past. He said, I have behaved poorly. I have behaved bravely. I have behaved bizarrely to some. I deny none of this and have no regrets because I have lost and found parts of myself I never knew existed, and I am blessed. He basically at some point, like in like a Reddit AMA, said like he understood the way people saw him that way. But Hollywood as an industry is unbelievably subjective. So a lot of time actors with ridiculous personalities end up getting away with that type of behavior.
Sure.
Jared Leto is, as you said earlier, a good example, though not as talented as Val Kilmer, at least in my estimation. One of those actors who was lauded for acting bizarrely on the set of Suicide Squad because somehow they thought that was going to help him access some aspect of self that would help him bring his version of the Joker out, which could somehow compete with Heath Ledger's. Obviously, that was never going to happen. But the point here is that, you know, I do believe that there is a certain line, and you don't cross it for the sake of his family if the idea is just to slander him in some meaningless way.
Also, like how it's, you know, you're going to talk shit to someone that can't talk shit back. Where's the fun in that anyway?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. This one's bad.
This one is so bad, you guys. I'm going to read this headline so that we can just dive right into it because there's no other way to tell you guys. TLC's unexpected stars Bella Vaughn, 16, and Hunter Johnson, 14, end their engagement 15 months after welcoming their baby. That is the most absurd and insane statement I have ever read in my life. So let me give you guys a quick synopsis of what's going on and why we're talking about it. Bella Vaughn and Hunter Johnson's engagement has come to an end. They split less than a month after announcing their engagement at 16 and 14, just a year after welcoming their son, Wesley. This is Bella speaking. This is a video I've been asked to make a million times to finally address it. And yes, we did break up. She said, alleging, I won't go into detail why, but he lied to me and hurt my feelings. It was not a big deal. So yeah, there was no drama, no tea behind it. Her mother said that the former couple plans to raise their son together and they're going to co-parent. And she said, I am better off on my own. And by on her own, she means on her own with her family because she's 16. She got pregnant when she was 14 and had her son when she was 15 and Hunter was 13.
Oh my gosh.
And this speaks to the tendency of TLC specifically, but other shows as well, MTV, all these different things, to glamorize teen pregnancy and try to rush all of these kids into adulthood. If you guys will recall, now this show has been on since 2017. They've had 7 seasons. They went on a small hiatus of covering teenagers giving birth and having children. This also has, if you guys remember, 16 and Pregnant. That was a huge show. It ran from 2009 until 2021, where they talked about mostly 16, but it would vary, 16-year-olds having children while in high school, navigating school, relationships, family, postpartum, and more. And they are encouraging and then exploiting these teenagers that get pregnant. How they contact TLC and why these parents are okay with it, I'll never understand. But I guess if you're okay with your child having a child, you might be willing to exploit them for money and fame. So
those are those people that are stoked to be like 28-year-old grandparents.
Yes, essentially so, yes. And I struggle with this personally because I'm pro-life. I'm as pro-life as they come. So acknowledging that this is basically a child having a child, right? The morality of it, yes. You get pregnant, you should follow through with that pregnancy. You should not terminate that pregnancy, morally speaking. But glamorizing kids having kids, I can't be for that. So while you can recognize it happens and be like, yes, it's a good thing you're not aborting this child, you can also say,
How do we make sure we don't get to this point?
Right. So we are making kids grow up way too fast in a society that is still over infantilizing a lot of adults.
Look at the picture of Hunter. Look how unbelievably miserable he is, realizing that he is a child feeding another child.
He
hasn't even gotten done growing up yet.
He doesn't have facial hair, and he is holding his own child. That is insane. And I read this headline and was like, what is this story? You're telling me a 16 and a 14-year-old ended not only a relationship, but an engagement, and they have a 1-year-old child? What is that?
Because the whole ladder of that isn't supposed to happen. That's why.
Right.
They're supposed to be able to just break up and have a shit relationship and move on because they're teenagers.
She's saying, oh, well, he lied to me, not a big deal, but I'm better off on my own. That's something you say when you're a 25-year-old going through a breakup. That's not something you say when you're 16 and the father of your child, who's a child basically, and you break up because he lied. And I don't know when they were planning to get married. I don't know any of that because I can't imagine there was like a wedding timeline going on.
I feel like it could be inconsequential because that whole entire thing could have happened just because of the baby in the first place.
It had to have happened because of the baby, right? I bet the dad was like, well, boy, you're marrying her.
Forcing that idea scares the shit out of a guy sometimes. Hell, I'm sure it even scares women. But it's one of those things where, okay, now I'm being forced into a situation because of all this. All this is happening so fast.
Right.
Makes the guy kind of look at his life and say, this is not where I expected to be at 16. You either decide right then and there what man you want to be, or you just let the events play out, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to end negatively.
Yeah, and she says she didn't do it intentionally. That's what she's claiming here. She said that she remembered immediately informing Hunter's mother about the pregnancy before later telling Hunter himself, almost like he was a kid. And then she said at the time, Bella said she made it clear that she was prepared to raise the baby independently if necessary. Now, let's just clarify, independent means her and her family. She said, he said, and I quote, I want to raise a family with you. He chose to stay. I mean, am I the only one that finds this absolutely absurd that there's still TV shows that glamorize this?
It's hard to believe. One thing that we've said...
Like, why is this not a bigger conversation?
One thing that we've said on this channel a lot is, like, there is a blind spot where it comes to reality TV show. If you're a horrible person who's really takes inspiration, say, from the Saw franchise, you would do well with reality TV, with producing for reality TV, because a lot of it is putting either the worst types of people into the spotlight, or taking potentially halfway decent people and doing horrible things to them and making their situations horrible to bring out the type of horrible person they could be if the circumstances were right.
And there's Teen Mom. That was another show that I was reminded of. There's a ton of shows that glamorize this. And, like, I might be crazy, but, like, how have we not talked about this more, especially in the spaces that we're in, where people tend to be more right-wing or conservative? We're not calling out the absolute absurdity that this show is still even being produced.
I think that it might even be seen as a form of signal boosting, because these shows have found their audiences and they're not expanding outward.
I feel like they live under the guise of this is informative so that people don't go and do this, but I think it literally is just a guise.
And it's almost grandfathered in from another time.
Right. So until that reaches a national level where people are like, oh my God, cancel this. What? You know?
I think this might be the perfect example of, like, it takes all kinds to live in a society, and there's just always going to be people that like this type of stuff, and as long as it flies under the radar, it's not going anywhere. Like,
it is insane. I'm trying to remember which one, but there is one of the couples that I think they were maybe have been Teen Mom, but I can't even remember. They actually grew up down the street from, like, I used to know someone who grew up on the same street and remembered, like, MTV coming and recording the show of, it was either Teen Mom or 16 and Pregnant, like one of the first couples, like the first season. But the fact that that's, like, and it's been happening since 2009.
That's, the grandfather clause. I mean, say what you want about it. I think it's bullshit. Don't get me wrong. I'm pro-choice. I always have been. But I don't believe in exploiting children. I never have.
Right.
It's kind of screwed up. I don't care what message you're trying to get. There's ways to do it educationally. This is why we have courses in schools for things like this, is so that we can try to make these kids aware as they're entering this stage of their life. Hey, be careful with this. This could happen to you. You could have this happen. We show them those examples in an educational environment, not in, like, a pop culture environment, or, like, a way to, like, oh, hey, like, this is trending. Did you guys watch this? Did you guys watch this? Oh my God, I totally want to be like her. Oh my God, that baby's so cute. Let's have one.
Yeah.
Like, there's ways to go about it that don't promote this kind of shit happening and don't allow people to make money off of kids like this. So I'm with you, and, you know, at the same time, it's also the parents.
It's not the kids, it's the parents. Like,
it really is.
It's to get rid of parents that do this type of thing, that put their kids in these types of situations, is about as realistic, unfortunately, as getting rid of the stage parents who push their kids into Hollywood, despite the fact that
Toddlers and Tiaras.
Yes,
that's also messed up.
Despite the fact that in 2026, you know, anybody who even spends a little bit of time on the internet is aware of just how dangerous of a place Hollywood is for children, but they're still being, you know, sent there kind of like lambs to a slaughter.
It is absolutely, to me, it just boggles my mind. Like, it really does. I've never understood it. And to say they ended an engagement, the fact that, like, they're going to leave high school and be like, yeah, so I have a broken engagement. Like, what?
But the thing is, it's also like the idea that it's for educational purposes is BS. And anybody with a brain knows that.
Oh, it's not.
It's a freak show.
For sure.
It's trying to show you a freak show of the most obscene and absurd people for the sake of entertainment value, which is something that American society has not just put up with, but, like, loved for a very long time, since the early 2000s.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And it's only gotten worse over time. And it is weird how this stuff kind of, you know, we can go through all sorts of socio-political change. And these things, you know, it's like, how many people in the country don't vote? It's like 80 million or something, right?
True.
Like, while everybody's fighting left and right up here, there's always going to be that side of the population that's going to be completely kind of checked out. And what is and what isn't politically correct doesn't matter when you're watching TLC, which used to stand for the Learning Channel, I think.
It did, yes.
And you watch stuff like this because you want to watch the car crash.
Yeah.
I don't get
One
it.
of
I
those,
don't like this.
the guy that's about to get hit by the car, but you can't get look out of your mouth. Like, you
Yeah.
can't finish
Yeah, that's
it.
basically what it is. You're like, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What drew you to this story?
I don't even know if it was just the fact that it's coming from a place of like protection, like watching kids have kids is insane, the absurdity of the headline, or just I just found it while scrolling through headlines. It was just one of those things where I couldn't believe it. I was like, I didn't even know this was still a thing. Like these shows were still a thing. I thought that was in the past. So I thought it was
You thought like this had come and gone? And this
yes,
wasn't
I
on the
thought
air
this like
anymore?
fad had come and gone of like, kind of romanticizing it and exploiting kids in this way. So now they're still doing it. And now it's called like unexpected. What do you mean unexpected? Your kids are having sex. That's the most expected it can be. You can be like, oh, we were using protection and it broke. That doesn't matter. The point you're doing it in the first place.
And why are your parents allowing these stories to be told on TV?
Why are you doing that to your kid? The kid was 12 when his girlfriend got pregnant. And so now your kid's forever going to be known as the kid who knocked up a 14-year-old and had a kid that is only, 13 years younger than him. That's insane. Like your kid is going to be, 13 and you're going to be 26. That's the age you were when your kid was born. So what if you're a grandfather at 26? That's insane. That is nuts.
All right, let's move on. All right, you guys, I'm going to ask a question. I don't have time to put a poll up for everybody. Let me know what you think the gender is of the person who wrote this article. Nearly 40% of Americans admit that they've gone on a date just to score a free meal. I have fast forwarded past the name of the person. Out on a date at a restaurant, the person across the table from you may be there mainly for free food. At least that's according to a recent survey that was done in Pennsylvania, which found that 39.9% of respondents, almost 40%, admit that they have gone on a date on at least one occasion just to get a free meal. They were like, look, I'm hungry. I need to eat something. Over a quarter, 27%, said that they have never gone on a date just to get a free meal, but they have considered it. And while 32.6% says they have never even considered it, that number should be 100%, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm curious as to the percentage split of genders.
Well, who do you think wrote this article?
Who do you think wrote this article? Was it a man or was it a woman that referred to it as 40% of Americans?
See, for me, I feel like you could go either way. I feel like it could be a dude who's just like jaded. And some chick like stood him up. But yeah, it seems more like a
Brandon.
woman article.
Oh, Brandon, you have so much to
There's a
learn.
percentage there, okay? You can't lie. Some jaded guy says, oh, blah, some chick who totally used me for my credit card.
I can tell you right
fucking
now.
McDonald's cheeseburger, you know?
At least the dates I had been on before I met Brett and got married, the guy paid for the first date. So presumably you're going on a bunch of first dates.
Yeah, but then what? You're ghosting the guy because
I'm
you got your
not
meal?
me.
Like,
Whoa,
what?
not me.
Whoa.
Set the record straight
This
here.
is the hypothetical, though, right?
This is the women, Americans, my bad, in this story are basically going on a date because they don't want to pay for food. This has been a trend on like TikTok too. Like women have made videos of being like, seeing how many free meals I can get, and they go on Bumble or Tinder or whatever, and they get a bunch of, like, okay, I have Monday, Tuesday, Friday lined up. So I only need meals for, like 4 days out of the 7 days this week. That is a thing people do.
I'll schedule a date for Wednesday.
People do.
Yeah.
Sorry, Americans do.
No,
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm sorry, you're an Americant if you're doing shit like this.
When me and Olivia went on our first date, I hit her with I left my wallet at home.
Actually,
Nice,
whoa.
yeah.
Let's correct.
That's
let's
a test.
Correct the record
That's a
here.
test.
Let's correct the record.
If you say, oh, I got it, don't
Brett?
worry about it. I'll get the next one. That's
So, Brett,
keeper.
this is gonna sound insane, but we can say this now because you guys know us. Brett paid for me to fly out from Michigan.
No, I hit her with I was like, oh man, you're gonna have to pay for your flight. I left my wallet at home.
friggin'
Okay,
whoops.
so I like offered to like split the flight or like pay for the hotel or something, and Brett was like, no, I got it this like first time. I'll cover your stay here, whatever. He's like, but then if you come back out, we can figure it out from there. But I offered, and then we ended up splitting. After that, we split the cost of all travel, pretty much. Except I think the last one, because I had to pay to move everything here, and you were like,
yeah, but I
I'll pay for
drove
the
I literally drove 10 hours. I drove the whole 10 hours with.
But mind you, this was
after with the cats.
Save it for the divorce, guys.
This
Okay,
was
God.
after months of talking, after months of speaking to each other on the phone every night. This wasn't like hey baby, you should come out and visit me. We just met. No, we had.
I said it exactly like that.
We had met.
Liz,
We had
lip curled and-
yeah, we had been.
Yeah, baby, come on.
We had
see
been
me.
friends for
See me one
what,
time.
6 or 7 months at that point. About that, you were like, but it was like October when you were like, you should come visit me, and I was like, that's a really good idea. I should do it in the spring when I'm done with my classes. And you were like, why not come out on winter break? And I was like, that's a wonderful idea. And you were like, I'll pay for it. And I was like, okay, cool. Because I was gonna like save money and.
Then she
Come
got
visit.
hit with all the hidden fees and charges later. They showed up on her.
I even brought a carry-on. I brought a carry-on so that Brett wouldn't
$50 to check
so
that
we
bag.
wouldn't have to check a bag. And then you know what? It ended up being a worthwhile investment, we'll call it.
39% say that they've gone on a date on at least one occasion just to get a free meal. The results correspond with a recent Wall Street Journal report that says 20-somethings are driving the comeback of the traditional dinner date. It's from Love on a Budget. Is America too broke to date? It says that it's the cost of modern romance, which is I believe a fair assumption. Though I do see that most people understand the wisdom of a first date being a coffee date or
Yes, I was
walking
gonna
in a
say
very
that.
public place.
Sure, but
Yeah,
this is
don't go to
almost
someone's house.
This feels like it's painting it as like, okay, people are so poor that they have to go on dates to eat. No, bullshit. Every single one of these people that went on one of these dates like this, knowing they were going to get a free meal, had money in their pockets or in their account
Oh,
when it happened.
for sure.
They're like, but now I have more money in my pocket.
Right.
I can
I saved money today and
I
still
can
ate.
girl math.
That's
it's
what
girl
this
math.
is
It's
just
girl math.
This is evil girl math.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry, I was a little
Americans math, guys.
Sorry.
It's
yes,
American math.
American math.
Yes, not girl math.
Look, I know obviously a lot of people are going to say, oh, Brett paid for, but listen, I was a worthwhile investment for Brett. And also, hold on. You know what I didn't make him do? I didn't make him pay for like an expensive ass ring. I was fine with literally. I went in there and was like,
I mean, no one really
I want a
makes their
nice-
guy pay for an expensive ass ring,
You
right?
would be
Unless you're Cardi
surprised.
B.
No, people want. There are women who want you to special order rings. I went in and said, I don't need anything too fancy. Can you give me the like most basic set you have? That's literally what I wanted. Because
And then I hit her again with
didn't-
I left my wallet at home.
I literally said like I don't want. He didn't even propose with the ring I'm wearing.
No, I proposed with a ring that belonged to my mom.
Right, a sentimental ring.
You didn't
And
do the ring pop thing?
You could
No.
have, and I still would have said yes.
Yes.
I told Brett.
That's
you
the
can,
real test right there. You give her a ring pop and she doesn't beat your ass and dump you on the spot, she's a keeper.
He could have proposed with. Literally, he could have gone and grabbed like a straw wrapper and been like, I'll tie it on. And I would have been like, sure. And we happened to, we checked if the store was
Is this
open.
a paper straw?
And we went, yeah, well, that's the real crime. No, and then we went and we got the ring that night, but then we had to get it signed. My point being that people will make comments like, oh, but I will say we went in with every intention of getting to know each other and hoping it would be something worthwhile in the long run. And it worked.
It says, among other findings, the researchers noted that the average American date costs about $93 for a first date. That's expensive these days.
It's also cheap these days if you think about it.
I mean, it's
$93 for two people on a dinner date?
but
That's
I
not
mean,
bad at all.
that's,
But are we
it's
including
expensive,
gratuity?
it depends on how often you're going on dates and whether you're
And where you're going.
Yeah, like well, I'm saying like if you're single and you're going on multiple dates a week and you're trying to woo a woman, that's not $93. That's several $100.
Valentine's Day at White Castle is pretty affordable, actually.
Hell yeah, Brando.
My
like
buddy's
that.
parents still do that. He takes his
we-
wife to White Castle on Valentine's Day
We
every year.
always say we don't need anything. Like I told Brett, he's like, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm happy with McDonald's chicken nuggets and like sitting at home because the cost to go out is so expensive right now, and two, like." I don't get this whole like it needs to be a fancy dinner, like maybe for an anniversary, maybe for
Oh,
but
when we go to
I ever
Dutch's
had an
daughter-
anniversary, I would want it to happen at Buc-ee's. Take me to
I've
Buc-ee's.
never been to Buc-ee's, but I think a lot of people emphasize it needs to be like, I think maybe it's a social media age, but they're like, it needs to be this very specific high end whatever. I think it should be specific to the couple. If there's something that, like, for us, I'm not sure. I think our 1 year anniversary is actually going to be us going to celebrate a friend's wedding,
Yes.
because it's going to coincide. It's a week after our anniversary, and we wanted to go back to Niagara Falls for our anniversary, but I don't think that's
Where
gonna
is
pan
this
out.
happening?
Near Philadelphia is where we're going to be going to our friend's wedding. And so
Go to Buc-ee's on the way. I think
Aiden
there's one in
Mattis,
between here
friend
and
of
there.
the channel, I can at least say that. I won't give out any other details, but Aiden Mattis, we're planning on going to his wedding, and so we should go to Buc-ee's while we're
Stop
we're
at
driving.
Buc-ee's on the
But
way, and that'll be your anniversary.
If
All right,
someone
we're
if
gonna
someone
have to-
asks
yeah.
you to dinner, then the understanding is that they're going to pay. I think that is a
Yes,
fair.
yes.
I think that is absolutely a fair assumption.
And go on a coffee date first. Like, my dad and stepmom went on a coffee date first. They're married for 16 years this year.
Now, is there a verbal agreement that takes place there? Like, hey, would you like to go out to dinner? Or is the question, hey, do you want to get some food? Because, hey, you want to get some food implies that you're paying for your own shit, buddy. You know what I'm
And
saying?
then you pull up to the Applebee's and you're like half price
Yeah.
apps.
Dude,
for
it's
first
expensive.
Yeah, you skirt up to
It's
the Ruby
expensive.
Tuesday, rolling on Doug's,
Ruby
you know.
Tuesday's expensive. You know the one over in Charlestown?
Oh
do.
yeah, the Ruby Tuesdays,
We went there?
the absolute
What the heck?
caucasity of that business to cost
Yeah.
as much as it does.
Yeah,
That
but
was
I think me and
insane.
Kellen went there one time after we got back from an IRL trip or something, and we did note how expensive it was, but I was actually like, that was really good though. I was like,
It's
I
good,
smashed
but
that
it's
plate.
expensive.
I think we had the meatloaf.
Most
Hell
modern
yeah, you
daters,
did.
about
You should go to,
60%, also think that
Cracker Barrel.
spending expectations around dates are higher now than they were in the past. So if money concerns have affected your love life, you're far from alone. Almost 3 in 10 have turned down a date because they couldn't afford it. Well, you just you didn't care enough. Then they'll say, I guess you just didn't care enough. Should have taken out a loan.
I
to go
just-
on that
look,
date.
You should have financed your Chipotle burritos.
My
Exactly.
maybe not so popular opinion is stop dating around and dating, going on a bunch of first dates at one time. Go on a date with one person, see if it clicks. If it doesn't, okay, move on. But like, if you're fielding 5 different people, it's just bound to, 1, be expensive, and 2, end up in disaster at some point. That's my take. Like, if as a woman,
What about those stories of like the guy goes takes his girl out on a date and she brings her friends and then like expects him to pay for
Right.
all of it?
absolutely don't pay for anybody, not even yourself.
That's
at that
even
point.
worse than what
Yeah,
we're
don't
talking
do
about
that.
now. That is a trap, my
The
friend.
entitlement of that woman can pay for herself, she can pay for you, and she can pay for her friend.
Oh, they're all
because
going
I
shopping
hate-
after you pay for their dinner.
Yeah, I hate the entitlement.
Americans.
And you leave. Maybe you pay for your portion, so you don't leave her with that, but stick her with her own bill and her friend's bill. You give, you pay exact change, slip
No.
the waiter some money.
That
and get out of there.
situation, she shows up with her friends, I'm racking up the bill, and I'm going to
Actually-
say I'm hitting the bathroom really quick, and then I'm out the fucking door, and
That's
you're never
been
going to see
done.
me again. Bye.
been
Because
done.
that's ridiculous.
Screw
to bring
you.
your friend,
I win.
you're a horrible person if you do that.
Yep.
I do notice that it says like if you're asked on a date, then then you expect the other person to pay. That's because the men are the ones who are traditionally asking. My tweet on this was like, congratulations to all the kings who made their ladies pay.
Yeah.
On the first date.
Is this really just a matter like of we're at a shift of expectations where things have really changed, but for some people they haven't,
What do you mean?
Like the reality of this is that the expectation is still there. It's like an old nostalgic thing to pay for your lady's dinner, right?
Well, yes, and the idea is that society has changed except for that thing. Who's the comedian who said like they treat feminism like it's an a la carte lunch? Like I'll take some of that, I'll take some of that.
Yeah.
You no
It's
for pay on the
disgusting.
no you can hold on to that. That's what it is in a lot of ways. And if you were wondering, ladies and gentlemen, if you have been waiting on pins and needles. It was someone named Teresa who wrote the article. So
Oh, Teresa, you dog.
I had my doubts for a second there. Maybe it was a devout male feminist who really wanted to obfuscate who these people were.
That's the only reason
it
I threw
wasn't.
the possibility out
You
there is
know-
because there was a 1% chance it was one of
We
those guys.
appreciate you, Branda. We
But
do.
it was a 99% chance that it was a woman.
It was, yeah, and I love you for that 1%
Sorry, an American.
trying to get that, but
I'm sorry,
yes,
Americans.
Americans.
Sorry.
It was an American, okay? And you know what?
Yeah.
It's like our own version of of how the media obfuscates stories. It was a group of teenagers All right, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do some super chats. In fact, I'm going to start over here on Rumble. Get super chats in now. The funny thing about it is like IRL last night, it got to be like 5 minutes to the end of the show, and I'm like,
Doing super chats or something?
are we doing super chats? We need to get to the super chats.
That happens
there.
sometimes.
It happens.
Yeah.
Last night was like, Tim was on one last night. I didn't have to say shit. Like, I didn't have to talk at all last night. He
had that whole week off. We had the whole Vegas thing, so it was like he's back in action. He's not sick anymore, and he's got a lot to talk about. Those are usually the shows where he's like, oh shit, we didn't get to super chats.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It was like I didn't have to say anything the whole night.
Yeah.
It was amazing. All right, let's go and check out the Rumble rants here first, ladies and gentlemen, and then when we're done here, we will just hang out because we've got till 5. Broody Gambit says, I never watched He-Man growing up, but I feel like I need to support it in theaters if I'm ever going to get the Thundercats movie I desire.
Honestly,
Yeah.
case in point.
Yeah.
I think me and Brett agree.
He also says, hey, Brett, is the He-Man flop similar to John Carter of Mars Failure? If not, why? So I looked it up. John Carter made $73 million domestic, $209 million international for a total of $282 million. And if I looked it up
That's
correctly,
going to be much more successful.
So the $30 million that it made for its opening weekend would be $43 million today, which means that's more than what He-Man is looking to open to.
Yep.
And the $105 million would be, the $73 million would be about $105 million today. So I don't think it's necessarily a one-to-one comparison. But, you know, the thing is when John Carter flopped, it kind of became like legendary. A lot of people feel like that is what kind of sidelined Taylor Kitsch's career after that wonderful run he had on Friday Night Lights, which I showed you the pilot episode of.
It was good.
He was the guy who was, they asked him if he was drunk during the game or during the interview.
Yeah.
And then he went on to be in Terminalist, which I love. We got another one here from Rudy Gambit. Says, I'm working with my dad to build a coffee table with a glass showcase that I can display my giant Millennium Falcon.
Let's go.
That's awesome.
Big Lego fans here.
All right. Go to Super Chats here. I would be interested to know if anybody here is going to see either He-Man or if they're going to see Supergirl, or if anybody cares. Like I said, I do want to do a like a review of He-Man, but I don't know. We'll see.
I'm going to see him just to
support.
Just because we got to do it.
Yep.
It's things to talk about.
We're going Friday night.
Yay.
She's very excited.
My excitement is oozing.
That
out of
was
me.
that was you're paying.
And then I let her pay and said, forgot my wallet.
Whoops, hey.
Paying
got
for
a
those
wallet.
drunken fries. I'll get my
Whoops.
2-for-1 hot dogs at Sheetz.
Shage Wilder says, Happy Taco Tuesday, Dasovics and Brando. Because of flight delays, I spent 12 hours yesterday in either an airport or an airplane. I didn't even have pretzels.
No pretzels. I sorry.
Not even a stroop waffle?
What is
Ooh, I
what
love
is
a
your
sweet
favorite airport snack?
Airport snack. This is really specific, but it has a reason. It's so as you guys know, my body hates dairy, so I can only have so much. So it's getting the vanilla scones from the Starbucks there. There's like little scones because they're high calorie and they like I can eat 2 and I'll be like absolutely filled up. But so those are the one thing that I've eaten on a flight and never gotten sick off of. Because I get motion sick. I don't fly well. I mean, I can fly, but I get sick when I fly. It's the one thing that like has actually stayed in my stomach. And like a coffee with like an oat milk, as much as I hate to admit it.
I'm going to be even more specific. Quiznos in Las Vegas.
Oh, in that specific airport.
Because it's the only place that I've ever found one in the last like 15 years. Mm-hmm. I used to be obsessed with Quiznos. I loved it.
Wait, why?
The chicken carbonara mostly. It's just
Ooh, God, that sounds
so good. Disagree if you want to. I don't care. I love them. And when I found that out there,
I'm team no strong opinions on most things, and one of those things is subs.
Do you have an airport? I think you do. What's your favorite airport?
I don't.
You get Chick-fil-A waffle fries every time.
Yes.
Every single time.
And macaroni
and cheese.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, once we're in the air.
No, I'm sorry. They don't have the macaroni and cheese. It's one of the two they don't have. They either don't have the macaroni and cheese or they don't have the waffle fries at the Chick-fil-A in the airport. I think it's they don't have the macaroni and cheese.
Is it I think that's the Dulles Airport specifically too.
Oh, is it?
Or is it Reagan specifically? It's one of the two.
It would have been Dulles.
Dulles, because that's what we fly out of more. But yeah, I mean once we land and I like walk for a minute, I'm good to go. But I like to fly not too early, but like first thing we get up and we go and we fly, because by the time we land, I'm hungry enough, but I don't have to worry about getting like sick. So it's more of like if we can fly out at like noon, I'm like, okay, because it gives us time to get to the airport. I can eat my little, and then I can eat like a protein bar or something. And if I have to have like water on hand, I usually just pop a Dramamine and I'm good to go. But I'm an anxious flyer. You're no help when the plane gets turbulence, and then you say to me, and I quote, "Well, if we die, we die," which is the last thing someone in the middle of a panic attack.
What have I said on this show before we've left for like the last like 3 trips is like, hey, if the plane doesn't crash, we'll see you guys next week.
As someone who has a very severe fear of flying, like very severe fear of, I guess it's more severe of like falling than flying, but still a massive
Talk about
fear
a
of
pedantic
flying.
argument. Like it's
I know. Well, I guess like the fear really isn't like getting on the plane and doing all that. My fear is the plane crashing.
Yeah.
Because flying, when we're in the air, we have a smooth flight. I actually really enjoy it. It's just like if we did like a long haul flight, I think I'd be okay. But it's like I just get so. We hit turbulence, and Brett was the least. I think he was trying, but like
the planes never crash.
I know. But look, that doesn't help me in the moment. When you're in the middle of a panic attack and you have like that, if you have like a panic disorder, that's when it's like logic does not come through.
Just the realization that it's happening is enough to happen like twofold instantly.
Yes,
like you're like, oh
100%.
shit, it's happening, and then boom, it just doubles instantly.
And then you're like, and I'm dying. That's pretty much what it is.
And then on top of that, we're all gonna die.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
And so when I grab Brett, and Brett goes,
Oops, I forgot my wallet.
yeah. I'm like, it's okay. We've told that story before, so I know you guys know that story. But since that happened the first time, and he realized I was not kidding. It has gotten a lot better. Don't worry, they're actually talking about me more than you.
Bloody Mary's help.
I don't drink, so
Well, yeah, you're
yeah.
screwed.
So I tried to bring crochet or something to like occupy my brain with.
Timcast viewers have joined on YouTube. They must have rated of some sort. Hello, you got us after
Hi.
all the segments are done.
What are
ladies
you
Now they get to hear me talk
What
about
are you
like
doing?
What are you doing?
here? But I hope that some of you stay and watch.
Yeah, we do. I did say welcome when they came in the chat.
Did Tim have like a 4 p.m. segment or something?
He premieres it, and so when
Yeah.
it premieres, then his people come here after. I guess he rated us today, which thank you, Tim.
Okay.
If you see that, thank you.
I mean,
Yes.
but the thing is, it's like whenever this happens, whenever there's like a raid on the stream, they catch it after we finish the main topics and we're into super chats, so they don't
Yeah.
actually get an idea of
But
like,
at least
what it's
they see how fun we are, though.
It's me like it's like imagine you're like a first time viewer and like you've been shepherded forward here by like another channel, and I'm over here like, and I made my wife pay because I forgot my wallet.
And here I am.
And they're like,
yeah.
what is that story?
Yeah, it's but yeah, so flying, I will eat very specifically. I could probably do jerky and be okay as well, because that's been like, this sounds weird, but like an anxiety food for me. I don't even know how to explain it, but I have certain foods that when I'm anxious, I know I can eat and they won't make me sick.
Wait, so do you eat Quiznos or no?
That wasn't even the question.
No, but he was mentioning Quiznos earlier, so do you
It's
eat
been a
Quiznos?
long time, but Quiznos is fine. I have
Be
nothing
careful, because
against-
you're being judged in chat right now on what your answer is.
I have nothing against Quiznos, but I haven't had it in a very long time. But
if only people said the same thing about Val Kilmer.
I don't frequent sub shops that often. I make my
You
own.
make them at home. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been making my own like French dips at home, which have been spectacular. And
Oh, we got Portillo's coming tomorrow, young lady.
dude, I am so excited. Guess when it's gonna get here, Brett? Guess what time it's gonna get here?
Let me
Guess what time it's scheduled to get here?
It's probably getting here right now, actually,
no,
but
did you
we're
see
not
he
doing it till
updated
tomorrow.
and said that it's not supposed to be here till tomorrow.
FedEx, you absolutely suck
No,
ass.
it was
I'm
supposed to be
sorry,
that
you
it
do.
Gets here today, but too late. So
Right.
Oh, was it
That's
today
what I
too
thought.
late?
But
Okay, I'm
they've
sorry, I
also
read that
been late
wrong.
on my freaking tempos every week, so screw
And they were
you,
late on
FedEx.
my
Guys are
they were
dicks.
late on the showcase we were doing for
Mm-hmm.
a member of our community.
Get your shit together, Tom Hanks.
Usually so the one thing that we have here that we can always look forward, well, not always look forward to, but lately there's been coffee purchased.
Yeah.
That I greedily go up and get one from every
Yes.
morning.
You should, because otherwise they just
sit there. Yeah.
It's not greedy.
But most of the time, whenever they do anything food related at this company, it's usually arriving just as I'm about to hit go live.
Yeah.
So I don't ever get to partake whenever these things
Well, hopefully
happen.
we're cooking at what, 1 o'clock tomorrow?
I mean, I could totally like set you up one of these days and just totally bring you in. Like,
That feels...
you're gonna be live, and I could just hand you a plate, but then you're gonna be the guy who's eating on his own podcast,
down
and
with
it's
it,
really
yeah.
Honestly, no,
far
we
do you
should
wanna
just
go?
have like Slopcast where we sit
Whoa,
here and we
whoa,
eat
whoa,
food
whoa.
during
it's
the
slop
show.
water.
It's Slopcast.
Yeah.
That could be like one of our days where Tim's like, I'm getting Taco Bell Slopcast.
Well, I used to eat my like beef jerky on the show because like
Yeah.
if you're on IRL, you can eat when you're not on camera because you're not on camera. On this show, you're always on camera, and eventually I stopped because people weren't fond of it. So I was like, okay, whatever. I will eat all before the show, whatever. That's fine.
Yes.
We'll
Yes,
continue
yes,
with the
yes.
super chats here, ladies and gentlemen. Shane H. Wilder says, "Use my fellow crisis actors." Yes.
We gotta do my fellow Americans. Good evening, but it needs to be like. But good afternoon doesn't flow. It has to be good evening. But we're at 3 p.m. But that doesn't matter. It's evening somewhere, right? So we can
Yes.
just, hello, my fellow Americans. Good evening.
Who is the drunkest president we've had?
Franklin Pierce. Sorry,
Franklin
that was
Pierce?
That was very fast.
Sorry.
She
I'm a
loves
nerd.
presidential facts.
I'm a nerd. I could tell you that. I could tell you like Teddy Roosevelt had basically a whole zoo at the White House at one point too. Yes, no, he
was
was
a
an
porker.
alcoholic because he lost his kid. He went to a severe depression. His wife died or something like that. He went into a severe depression, so he was known as one of the, if not the drunkest president of all time.
Hell yes.
Yeah, he drank himself to death actually. Kind of sad, but that's
Not
okay.
hell yes.
Not
No,
hell yes
no.
to the first part. Second part sucks.
Yeah, that sucks.
Guys, let's get to a crisis party, especially if there are new viewers here
For
who have
Mocha.
never been. Yes,
Do it for Mocha.
Bring it on.
Yeah. All right, back up here. Where did I leave off? Make sure I find it here. All right. Brian Bledsoe says the only clip of interviews from Masters of the Universe I keep seeing is Mendez talking about how in the back about going in the back door with everyone laughing about it. Well, I don't know what that is, but that's the clip that should be circulating if they're looking to make it locker room talk so that they can promote some good old-fashioned toxic masculinity so they can make some money. But we all know that Masters of the Universe isn't going to make any real money this weekend. It's very sad.
They're gonna make like $5 off me.
There you go.
I'm all right with it.
Brian Bledsoe says, still remember my field trip to a cow farm.
Yeah,
No.
we went to a petting zoo at one point. So Domino's Farms is in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I grew up near Ann Arbor, Michigan. And where Domino's, the pizza chain, started. And they have a petting zoo there.
Wait,
like a petting farm
so
there.
Michigan created both Domino's and Little Caesars?
And Hungry Howie's.
I don't know what the hell that is.
It's more of a regional one. But yes, we had 3 pizza chains.
I did not know that.
Oh, did you see?
They
you
also
brought
have the
Little
wooden
Caesars.
shoe near Whitehall, which is actually really good. They used to have Surge in the fountain. And I was like, hey, I'm going to remember this place forever, even if I never come back, because you guys had Surge. in the fountain.
Surge, the relaunch never mattered because it didn't taste as good the second time around, especially in the
No,
in the
they
can.
they screwed it up, and then Vault happened, and it was like, okay, obviously you guys had like a change of heart.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know.
Brett, I meant to tell you, I saw this while we were live. There was no good way to put this in here. Prime members can get a large $5 cheese pizza from Little
I saw
Caesars
that,
again.
yeah.
Okay, there we go. Coming up here soon during Prime
Wait, how
Days.
the hell do you prove it? Do you like have to show them? your-
There's probably
probably
some
get, like, a
promo code or
QR
some
code or-
shit, that you
yeah.
have to put in at
And
checkout.
scan.
That's how they do
or
it.
scan it like
But-
in store.
Little do people actually realize, if you go online for like anybody that's a pizza place and just search promo codes for them, sometimes you have to find a store that's actually
honey.
participating in all of them. But
Get
for the
honey.
most part, you just knock
Honey
like
will do
$15
that.
off your order just by
Yeah.
going
I mean,
online.
I have gotten very cheap and happy in recent months when I discovered to just do carry out rather than have it delivered. Because
Yeah.
we live fairly close to both of the, like.
And if I lived close enough, that's usually what I do. I even bite the bullet and take the half-hour drive sometimes. But up on the mountain, sometimes I'm like, okay, to hell with this. It's Sunday. I got Dungeons and Dragons to play. There's a bunch of shit going on. I'm just gonna bring me my Little Caesars. I'll pay you $10.
Wait, you have Little Caesars delivered?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They actually deliver over there.
They do.
You got to get it from like Ranson or whatever.
I know the Ranson one has a drive-through.
It's DoorDash guys
Yeah.
that usually show up, so I think they're like outsourcing.
Yeah, Domino's Farms is actually the headquarters of Little Caesars. They also have like a downtown Detroit.
What?
Or that's not Little Caesars. I'm sorry. Domino's has Domino's Farms in Ann Arbor Township. That is their headquarters, and it was founded. Technically, the first store opened in Ypsilanti. So, or if I was not from Michigan, Ypsilanti, Michigan.
I'll wait for Brett to read it, but I want to thank Brian Bledsoe for that super chat because that's great information. I had no idea.
We'll get there. My favorite field trip growing up was Fort Snelling in Minnesota. Not because of any of the historical stuff, but because you could get rock candy at the general store.
That's it.
Yeah.
Was it like on the sticks that were like in the thing? And
we should go. Like they sell it at a lot of like old timey candy.
I've always wanted like a rock candy
now.
Christmas tree.
But I don't like want it from the other stores. I want it from Fort Snelling. So it's
well, then next time
go
we're
to
in
Buc-ee's.
Minnesota, we'll go.
Go to Buc-ee's.
And if we're Brandon, we go to Buc-ee's.
You're gonna want everything at Buc-ee's. It's nuts.
All right.
It's the Walmart of gas stations.
We are getting very close to a crisis. Well, we're about 2/3 of the way to a crisis party. All right, where did I leave off here? Let me find it. All right. There it is. Brian Bledsoe says, no, I'm sorry. Shane H. Wilder says, this needs to be a Hulu true crime documentary miniseries. Since you need a salacious title, we'll call it Blood on the Bricks.
Oof.
What was that in relation to?
Legos.
Ah, yes. Yep. That seems like something that Netflix would end up turning into some type of like novel film.
Yeah, 16 and pregnant with Legos.
Yeah. Mad Stork.
Baby.
Matt Stork says all the bricks. You'd have to watch the video to understand this.
All the bricks. Yeah, you guys got to watch the video. Do that.
Okay. Katie says, I don't believe in speaking badly about the dead. I did lose my abusive dad 3 years ago. I had good times with him. Val can't defend himself.
Yeah, it is a cheap shot to make to take shots at the dead when they can't defend themselves.
I mean, maybe it's just me, but the fact that the guy also had a less than charmed career makes it somehow more annoying to me.
Yeah.
Where it's like it comes off as sour grapes.
Yeah, it just seems like he's old. He's bitter from past experience and didn't have the balls to talk shit while Val was alive. So.
Yep.
All right. Shane H. Wilder says, is the writer a he, she, or a she, he, or a she, it?
What about a he? Okay.
Oh, no. What if the sequel to He-Man is She-Man? And then the trilogy ends up being They, Them?
They, men.
They could do that.
Them.
I would watch
If
it.
Disney gets a hold of it.
We will watch it. All right. Shane H. Well, it's MGM, so it's owned by, I guess that's Amazon.
Shut up, Kellen. I mean, Smellin.
Wait, what do you
Bro can't even walk by and we're just yelling at him.
He's in chat talking shit to me.
Oh, is he?
All right.
Brandon is doing great.
Shane H. Wilder says, Aiden's getting hitched. I haven't talked to him in a grip. I need to go congratulate him. Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he announced it a long time ago.
Did he?
Yeah.
After you said it, I was like, I hope he announced that.
He did, yeah, on his Instagram for sure.
All right. Just double checking there.
Yeah.
That would have been bad luck. Pat the Plumber says, Tuesday is almost over, and I can't say that that's a bad thing.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, ? It sounds like that's a bad time for you. I'm so sorry.
I mean, is there anybody that's like a huge Tuesday defender other than Taco Tuesday defenders?
I might be a Tuesday defender because I get to hang out with you guys.
That's true. All right. Shane H. Wilder says, Pittsburgh to Houston hit turbulence flying through a thundercloud. A little Asian lady next to me freaked out. I just sat there like nothing happened. Well, you don't want to betray your cool, calm exterior.
Listen. You might be cool, calm, collected. There's nothing wrong with the little Asian lady freaking out. No need to shame her like that. No need.
No, at the same time, I'm the guy that's next to the Asian lady that is completely asleep and enjoying himself.
Yep.
Through all the turbulence and the cloud bullshit. I'm used to it now, so I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
If you're gonna die. Like, there's no point screaming about it.
Yep. All right. Shane H. Wilder says, don't put Surge in a fountain. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, true.
Who's putting Surge in a fountain?
Well, you said Surge the drink in a fountain.
Oh.
It took him so long to...
I was like, who the hell's putting Surge in a fountain? Nobody puts Surge in a fountain.
Rude.
Nobody puts Baby in the corner.
I was like, what? No. Great guy.
Shout out, Surge.
Love you, Surge.
All right. Brian Bledsoe says there's a Quiznos in Hagerstown in Oxon Mills.
Okay, I did not know that. Road trip, little weekend getaway.
Fuck the weekend. I'm going in like 10 minutes. We don't got Portillo's till tomorrow. I'm gonna
Hey,
walk out of here, go
some of
straight
us
to
have to work.
Quiznos. I'm gonna
Some
come
of us
back.
work.
I'm gonna smash that sandwich on the Discord pre-show.
Yeah, you can get it there. Oh yeah, we're a lot closer. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about like where I live. I'm like, yeah, no, we're a lot closer.
Poor Asian lady.
Pat the plumber says Bucky's brisket is great. So is their fudge.
Boochies.
Okay. Shane H. Weiler says Bucky's is all about the beaver nuggets.
What is a beaver nugget?
Does somebody want to fill
Can
us
someone
in?
tell us that someone that's not
I think it would be better coming from the chat. I think she would be a lot more confused, and it'd be funnier that way.
what is a beaver nugget? Is it like beaver meat? I'm not gonna eat a beaver. It's like
Beef loaf.
oh no. Can someone tell me?
All right. High Voltage 75 says, Brandon, how do you feel about Ohio?
Ohio?
Yeah, how do you feel about Ohio?
You're gonna be judged very pointedly on this answer.
As a Hawthorne Heights fan, Ohio is for lovers. But I can't necessarily
Nobody cares about
say
Hawthorne Heights beyond that song, though.
they're my boys. So
Hey. Oh, wait, you know them?
I used to tour with them a lot. Yeah, we had a whole thing in Tyler, Texas, where like the lead singer got kicked out of the show, and I got him back in because they didn't realize that they had thrown out one of their headliners for simply having a problem with the way that things were going there. So shout out to those guys. They're in C-Town pretty soon. I'm going to come up and say what's up. But the only thing I can say realistically about it is that outside from playing like the Cleveland Agora and doing shows there, I've never really had that great of a time in Cleveland, and I'm not sure how people do that. So if you have an idea as to how to have a good time in Cleveland,
Or anywhere
feel free
in
to let me
Ohio.
know.
Anywhere in Ohio, for that matter.
We have a super chat from Mike, member for 3
chat.
months, says,
Thanks,
Brett, what soda company made Surge?
Fever
Well,
Nuggets.
if I remember from the Weird Food History video, Surge, which was originally Urge when it was released in some Swedish such place, was a Coke product that was set to compete with the juggernaut that was Mountain Dew. And they, remember, it had carbos. Nobody knows what that is. They never explained what a carbo was.
And
but
I did not care.
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
I love that.
Carbo the hell out of me.
The Weird Food History video about Surge was fascinating and a lot of fun. I recommend everybody going and watching that one. All of the ones on soda are good. I like that one better than the one on cream soda.
I like the cream soda one.
More than the one about Surge?
Surge was before my time.
I just like that. So the Surge
it's not
one,
as
they're
nostalgic for me.
The Surge one, they're like, it was an ode to millennials, like walking down the street with their skateboards,
Yeah.
flipping off the library.
Yes.
Fuck books.
Yeah. And Game
you're like, I
Game
think I
Fuel
did
was the
that.
second coming of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
When Halo dropped Game
But that
Fuel.
was video games. Surge was more action sports.
Surge was,
outside.
go out, punch somebody in the face, kick flip a horse, slam a Surge, go home, do your
on.
chores.
Flip a horse.
Hold on. Now I have to
Get
find
grounded, you know, like
Yeah.
you
Hold
only
on.
live once.
Talk amongst yourselves. I have to find this video.
Oh God, that's like right when we have nothing to say. You're like talk amongst
Well, that's
yourselves.
I know
It's
it's like you're putting somebody
yeah,
on,
like
on the
right when we
spot.
finish what we're talking about, you're like, why don't you guys talk among yourselves? Like,
Yes.
okay.
Ethan Miller
We're
said,
gonna-
Drew Carey told me Cleveland rocks. Well, that's why no one cares about Drew Carey anymore.
Oh, here we go.
Hold on. First, we're gonna.
Well, we
watch
have
this.
a super chat.
We'll get to it.
He said F a super chat. Yep.
Holy shit.
Boys were just being boys back.
Makeshift
Guys,
crisis party.
Okay, if it was so great,
It's a fully loaded
why
citrus
is it
soda
not
with carbo. Beat the rock.
I don't know
I'm not
how
saying
one-
it wasn't great, but I'm just like trying to.
Does anything look more intense?
Like
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why it's not back? Like, what?
it's
It was
like
that great.
I
Everyone's
think the
got
formula was
Baby's
adapted and changed.
Baby's first meth was.
So
I love how 90s everybody looks. They all look like they would have been in the show Shasta McNasty.
yeah,
And
and it's awesome.
they
Everyone's
would be
wearing
listening-
Jinkos
and
and
they would be listening to ska music.
or like Eric said, Beastie Boys. Beastie Boys was totally this time. Oh, the can.
Such a deep thing. It's hilarious.
This is what it was like 30 minutes to IRL waiting for Surge to show up.
Surge. It's a fully loaded picture with Carlos. Feed the rush.
Yes.
Well, before he goes way too far down the rabbit hole, ladies
Awesome.
and gentlemen, we have a super chat from Shane H. Wilder. I'm not going to eat a beaver. Phrasing, Olivia. What? It's called a beaver nugget. What do you want from me? Beaver nuggets are puffed corn, almost like corn pops.
Cinnamon.
Snack covered in butter and caramel. Well, I can't have too much of it, but I can have some of it. I mean, I guess that sounds really good.
It's delectable.
It sounds great. I hear good things about it, but like, again, I feel like I just have to try it. It can't be like explained
You can get
to
like
me.
10 bags for like $100. It's awesome. Or maybe it's more than that. There's like a whole
But
box
it's like
you can
people
get
are
online.
like, well, you have to like, they're not explaining it well. So I just want to like,
It's kind of
gotta
one of
eat
those
it.
things where like it's a rite of passage for you to find these things out for yourself by simply attending a Buc-ee's.
yeah, we never drive in that direction because we're always like up.
I think it's like 120 something miles
To the nearest?
east of here, but who's counting?
Yeah.
They have the one in Virginia now.
Yeah, I think that's the closest one.
It doesn't matter because Sheetz is expanding its reach outward as well.
Into Michigan.
Yeah. into
Dude, they're
Michigan.
doing shows now.
What?
There's people that have done shows at Sheetz.
Didn't,
I
like,
can't remember who the last
All-American
band that did it was. Was it
Rejects?
All American
I think
Rejects that did it?
All-American Rejects did like
That-
one
was
of
that a-
their,
well, I remember
one
we-
of their
we co-
garage band statement. They did that at a Sheetz.
We
And these
covered
guys
that
are
on
doing
this
a residency in Vegas, but they decided, oh, we're going to stop at Sheetz and throw a damn show. And
Well, they
it was
did it at,
actually
like,
well
a
received.
banana
The
ball
Sheetz
game,
marketing
they-
is Sheetz is the only gas station besides maybe Buc-ee's that has like a unique identity to it.
Yeah,
Like
it's true.
all the marketing, like I was like literally
Wawa's
the other
kind of
day-
the same thing.
I mean, what does Wawa's marketing look like? All I can think of is the logo. Sheetz,
Their
it's
whole
always
thing
some
is-
weird looking dude looking weird, and I don't know what
and
that has
doing
to-
like weird things and being
Yeah,
like,
and he's like,
yeah.
holy sheets.
And the
eat-
Z,
Eat a
the
hot
Z
dog,
is their
yeah.
thing, like nuggets, right?
Wawa
Like,
is just
that's
like,
a
hey, we
Z.
got food and it's good. They don't even like tell you about gas.
Yeah.
They don't care about gas.
Yeah, there's a Z on the end of everything at Sheetz, and that's the identity.
Welcome back to the 90s. Everything had a Z at the end, and
Well, it's Sheetz.
everything
Lols.
with an X was spelled
Lols.
extreme. Guys, hit the like button on this episode, please, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you've not subscribed here yet already. We appreciate that very much. All right, guys, where can we find you, Brandon?
You guys can find me, as always, at Brando Boonies on Insta and on X. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for letting me hang out. Feel free to check out the Skateboard Podcast on Fridays following IRL, and I will see you guys the next time that I see you.
I was going to ask, can you give everybody like a preview what's coming with the next episode?
I can't, only because I actually wasn't on it. So it's a mystery to me. I'm going to have to watch it like the rest of you.
This is how I felt last night when I accidentally revealed that Phil was back on the show. Nobody told me not to do that. So here's the thing. On IRL, they do the thing where they go around the room and they do the intros for everybody. And those who are like on the show nightly are very good at doing their intro and then saying, how about you? And then like
Passing it to the next guy.
the next person. I finally try to pass it to somebody and they're like, well, it feels
Well,
supposed to be a surprise.
screwed that up, Brett. Way to go.
Yeah.
Way to go, Bert.
I felt bad. So, all right. Olivia, where can they find you?
Well, I have a couple things. First of all, I am not disappointed. I am not sad. I am disappointed we didn't get a crisis party today.
Could
but
still happen
It
before
could
the
still
end.
happen before the end.
If I did the NPR
I can give
outro,
you guys
perhaps.
the two places you can find me. You can find me personally on social media at Olivia Dasovic on all those platforms. Or you guys can go to timcast.com/discord. Join our members-only Timcast Discord server, where we have events. Brett did an event in here over the weekend. It was a good time. Working on getting more events done. You can watch us record the Green Room live. You can meet like-minded individuals. You can call in and talk to Tim and crew that night, the guest on IRL. And it is fun. We're building a community over there, and I love my community. I love my mods. They are all, shout out to all of them. All my volunteers are awesome. But other than that, yeah, that's about it. That's all I got. Timcast.com/Discord. If you're not a member already, can be now.
Yeah, it was. We did the event on Saturday night.
I was so sick that I just,
She
like-
was literally sleeping in the other room because she was too sick
I
to be
stayed
there,
for
so-
like 20 minutes, and I ended up knocking out in our room.
Chris
'cause I was
Chris
just so-
took over and made sure
yeah,
everything ran perfectly.
because
It
I was just so sick. I'm talking slow so that I can see if we can cycle.
We
through
got
the
one
day.
here from Pat the Plumber for $10. Says, "Don't be sad, get glad."
I remember those commercials too.
Guys, I do want to draw your attention to the Discord because I'm gonna try to do a twice a month thing over there and do like, it was like an hour long. I did about 30 minutes of news related to box office stuff. Talked a little bit about the inferior marketing to Supergirl, because I don't think that putting Millie Alcock on the cover of Vogue is selling any tickets, because I don't think that women that read Vogue are going to see superhero movies. We talked about that for a little bit while I kind of got my bearings and tried to get used to using Discord rather than what we do here. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm looking to do that again, twice a month. So you should go and become a member of the Timcast Discord and go over to the PCC section over there. I posted a picture right before we went live there as well, trying to get in there more, stay active with you guys. So thank all of you so much for supporting us. If you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on X at Brett Dastovic on both of those platforms. Remember that PCC is live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. I saw somebody in the chat earlier ask where Mary was, as they always do. Remember, guys, Mary is live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Olivia is here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then we have Brando sometimes, and then I'm hoping to get Phil back as well when he's kind of got his bearings going again and he's like all set to go.
I will berate him today.
Okay.
And say, hey, man.
Where you at?
Where you at?
What's good, man?
Yeah. If you want to listen to the audio version of this podcast, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch, you can also rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which is a great way to help out the channel as well. It does a lot for us. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. One more from S Bud Bud says party, which it's going to be.
Let's set it off before we go.
Do you want to just do that?
Set it off
10,
before
9, 8,
we
7,
go.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We
Go.
can do that. I
Set
mean,
it
we
off.
can do that. I just hopefully it doesn't screw anything up.
Just ended on the old CP. I also have to pee.
They ended on the what?
CP.
He's still looking at me. Can't believe I said it.
There will be no CP.
That was
Ladies
a
and
CP.
gentlemen.
No, it was
Ladies
not.
and gentlemen, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. Thank you all so much for joining us. We will see you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Doses.